This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Online, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the podcast Off My Shelf, whose 4-episode mission to explore Star Trek the series, to seek out sci-fi and deep lore, to boldly talk about something that so many have talked about before. Ba 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 ba. Hello, my name is Tracy James, and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are well off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. On this second episode of this mission, we are going to talk about the first 2 Star Trek original series movies, Star Trek the Motion Picture and Star Trek the Wrath of Khan. I have with me a fantastic bridge crew for this journey with Sean Archer.
Hello again.
Josh Ratcliffe.
I'm back, baby.
Tim McLidden.
Somebody let me back, baby.
And Steve McCabe.
Hello.
Welcome. I just realized I'm calling you guys my bridge crew, but I also don't know what you would be doing on the bridge. What do you think you guys would be? Are you going to be a con officer? Are you navigation? Are you security?
I would definitely be a henchman holding wrench, arbitrarily turning knobs, trying to make it look like I'm doing something.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so you're crewman number 4 who's wearing a red shirt. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes.
I'm definitely somewhere in
Yeah.
They don't let me up there. And also I'd probably be more annoyed with the main characters on the show than anybody else.
Wait, why would you be annoyed?
Oh, they're just at the center of attention all the time. I'm really working really hard down here. Do I get any credit? No. It's all Geordi. Guess what? There's a whole crew with Geordi. Takes all the credit.
So
just
wait,
because he's blind.
Are you Robin Leffler then? All the way down there?
Yeah.
Friends with Wesley? Got it.
God, no. I hate Wesley the most. Oh my God. Little Nepo baby.
I mean, yes. That's how he's got there. What about you, Steve?
I don't know. Con? I don't know. Engineering? I like engineering too. I think engineering. Yeah.
Are you going to be the Geordi LaForge and take all the credit from Josh?
Sure.
Yes. Yes, I like it. What about you, Sean?
I'd probably be the yeoman that brings the captain his tea or coffee, or her tea or coffee.
Wearing the skort.
Yeah, wearing the skort.
You got them legs.
Yeah, I can't fix things, so engineering's out. I'm not strong. Security's out. I'd probably be con, actually. But
Really? Taking the
Sorry,
phone
helm.
calls?
let's go
Helm?
helm.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you know where you're going?
No,
Okay.
we'd be doomed.
We'd be doomed.
You know what? They switched that. They call it con sometimes. Sometimes they call it the helm. Sometimes they call the whole bridge the con. They are very inconsistent with the
Yeah.
use of that word.
They really are, actually, now I think about it. What do they call it in TNG? Because in original series, they call it navigation, right? They don't call it the con.
I think you've got the con is what the captain says when he's like, you're in charge now.
Yeah.
They say that a lot.
They'll also do the bridge is yours, or you have the bridge.
hmm
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I don't think this is something where, well, I mean, I guess we could just
No, we're going to
Google
crack it tonight. Let's let's get this down.
Get all the scripts. We'll
Yeah.
word search con.
Surely
Con!
surely somebody's fed all of the scripts of Star Trek into ChatGPT by this point.
Oh, probably.
I would hope so.
I hope
I
so.
think that's the
yeah.
basis of its entire programming.
Yeah.
That's why it gets
That
everything wrong all the
and
time.
Monty Python sketches.
My God, if we could feed both those in and just create a show, I guess that's just lower decks though.
Yeah, essentially. But there'd be random feet stepping on people, I think, right?
Yes, that
Yeah.
would be the end of some episodes. That'd be great. I mean, there's random hands that grab ships, so I mean,
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true. So we can make this happen.
It's in the opener now.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
that's
I noticed it
right.
too.
in the opening sequence, I was like, wait, is that V'ger? What? This is crazy.
V'ger, Tholian webs. I think they were like, oh, well, it's the last one. Let's throw everything at
Throw
that.
them all in there. Yeah, they even have the crystalline energy, even though that was destroyed, and they only think there's one of them. But that's just
No, they appear in Lower Decks like a bunch of times. They just on that one where they're trying to find problems, they just find a couple.
They just find.
Oh yeah, that's ringing a bell.
Right. I was like astonished. I actually looked up the size of V'ger's like energy cloud in. I guess we're starting. Sorry.
That was actually one of my notes. That was one of my notes. Is just how big V'ger is.
Yeah, I like calculated it, ish, and I was just like, "That's crazy," because they just happen to say it's like, "Oh, it's really big," and then they're like, "Oh no, it's really big. It's 82 AU across," and AU is. Hold on, let me find the decimal place.
It's the distance from the Earth to the Sun is 1 AU.
So it's 14,959,787 kilometers. No. Sorry, I missed the one. Hold on. 149,597,871 kilometers is an AU, just one. And it's 82 times that. So it's
someone's compensating.
Someone's compensating for something. And I actually checked on this. That means that it's approximately twice as big as our whole solar system. The energy cloud. So my question is how do they know it's going to Earth if it's that big?
I'd imagine that the speed that it's going at?
I don't know.
Like it should be fairly simple to get like the direction something's going.
It's coming from a great distance too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to Mars. We don't know.
Yeah.
But it would hit
very ethnocentric of Starfleet to be like, it's coming right to us. It's like obsessed with us.
The movies always do that. It's always going for Earth.
Right for Earth.
Yeah. These are considered the worst and the best Star Trek movies, right? Motion picture the worst, Rathacon the best.
I don't think it's the worst.
Which one's the worst?
Oh, is it 5? What was that? God?
Final Frontier.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about like all of the Star Trek movies. Because even I would say like I actually think that motion picture is the worst, followed by Insurrection, followed by 5.
I've actually watched Insurrection recently. It does not hold.
Same. I don't know. I'm as I've told Tracy in the past, I'm just entertained by movies, so I'm along for the ride, and I just like most things. Oh, so like Insurrection, like even rewatching it, I was like, yeah, okay, this is less good than I remember watching it when it like first came out, but like it's still fine. I also did not remember a lot of that movie.
Yeah, every time I'm gonna watch it, I think like, oh, it's gonna be okay. Like I'm gonna like it. I pushed it out of my mind, and then I watch it, and then I'm like very upset with myself, and then I'll wait another 5 years until I forget again and watch it.
I mean, yeah, like I watch it every once in a while, but my biggest problem with it is that it's so silly, and that one movie takes itself too seriously. Because even like First Contact, yes, it's a really good story and it's really well done, but if you watch it, they don't take themselves that seriously. They're just having a good time.
You told them about the statue?
And then you have Insurrection comes along and I'm like, why are you guys so serious about this? Like, what is going on? This is not even a good story. You're not having fun with it.
I think isn't there a scene in Insurrection where Troy and Crusher talk about their boobs?
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be pretty low on my list of Star Trek movies. I think 5 is still offensively terrible.
I don't know. I get a kick out of 5.
I think 5 thinks I'm dumb. Like it's like these dumbasses in the seats over here. They'll eat this with a spoon. We won't even get a real director. We'll just get Shatner to do it. He's already there.
Yeah, I know. Was that the one and only he directed? Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Didn't Nimoy direct one?
Oh yeah, he did Voyage Home.
I think he did
Yeah,
Voyage Home.
and
Yeah.
that was great movie. So
Great
good.
movie.
I think he did the Whales one too. Oh, sorry. He does the next one. I mean,
Search for Spock.
No, Search for Spock, then the Voyage Home. So yeah, he probably did both. Yeah,
because he didn't want to play Spock anymore, so his deal
time.
was he would direct it instead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I don't know. I'm torn between Insurrection and Motion Picture for being the worst.
I feel like the only reason why Motion Picture is worse for me is because of how beige it is.
It's so
the uniforms
beige.
are awful.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Some of the worst in all of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But we get the new Enterprise.
We do.
Yes.
And
like
that
10 minutes.
The
beautiful. I'm okay. That is like the best 10 minutes of the movie. Them just like spinning around the ship.
And it's just shots of their reactions.
Yeah, and they got just people randomly spacewalking without a tether.
Yeah,
for no reason.
And then when they're pulling out a dry dock, there's just like somebody on a ledge, and he's just like does a little backflip.
Yeah.
Sorry, is it just me, or is that scene reused in Wrath of Khan?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Except in Wrath of Khan, the guy is not doing a backflip; he's just standing there.
Yes.
I missed that.
They paused the frame.
Yeah.
So it looked different. That and the bird of prey that explodes in Generations is the same bird of prey that explodes in Undiscovered Country, and it drives me insane.
It's when Lursa and Bator blow up, right? Is that scene? Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. Like, honestly, you just watch both the explosion. It is identical. I think they maybe changed the tone slightly of it, but
yeah. I'm like, God, you guys have a shit ton of money. Just spend the money and do it again. Yeah. It's okay. Like, but it looks so good. It's fine.
We spent so much money on this 87 minutes of ship footage. We're going to put it all in the movie. And then we're going to show it to them again. Just to remind them, remember this shot from the movie before? It was pretty cool, right, guys? As somebody who has trouble sleeping, I will say I like Motion Picture quite a bit.
Yeah.
Ringing endorsement.
I did have to rewatch this movie again because it's actually my least watched of all of the Star Trek movies. It was also my last watch of the original series. For the longest time, I thought 2 was the first movie, and I was like, no, Tracy, you're crazy. There's another movie. And when I say for the longest time, it was till I was like 18 or something, and it's been a while. But I think I've only watched this movie maybe 3 or 4 times, including this watch. But like all of the other movies, I've probably watched at least 25 times each, easily. No problem.
I have a weird staggering. I've probably seen the Motion Picture probably about the same, like 3-4 times. Wrath of Khan, maybe like 4 or 5 times. Search for Spock, I cannot remember watching, like, so maybe once, maybe twice.
Mm-hmm.
Voyage Home, though, like easily like 20-30 times.
That's
acceptable. Voyage Home is the one they could just put on like TV and anybody could like walk into it and watch it. Same with like, I feel the same way about First Contact, but like Voyage Home, you could just, it takes place in San Francisco. It's not super sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah, because even people who are like, I don't like Star Trek, you're like, well, you'll like this one because it's not really Star Trek. It's people hanging out in San Francisco. And you're like, oh, okay. And they'll watch it and it's fine.
It's a fish out of water comedy.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. And then people get it.
And it's really good.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think the reason why this movie doesn't hold up is because it perpetuates all of the tropes from the original series. Like, the woman walks on the bridge, then you have it's a soap opera. You
Yeah, they
know?
basically like smear the Vaseline on the lens.
yeah.
Yeah. And then
I
it's
was
got this
really
like
confused by that.
it was like tinkling sounds, like ting, like of them like
Yeah.
catching their eyes and all this kind of stuff, and you're just like, oh god, not this again. It was
So
my
this
first
is
thought.
the love interest of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we learn anything about her other than she's
No.
she's an alien?
She's Delton,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she has signed a celibacy contract or something like that.
Yeah, Decker
She's
brings it up
very
pretty
forward
randomly.
about it. No,
Yeah.
she
I
brings
feel
it
like
up
that was-
to Kirk.
Oh, she brings it up. Sorry.
Kirk's like, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you." She's like, "I'm not gonna fuck you, man."
Well, she was getting that vibe like right away, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's who he is, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't like. Do they have to sign celibacy contracts? Is there like, is it like their race that they just have sex with everybody, so she has to sign a contract? Like, I didn't understand why.
It's not explained.
They
That
think
was
she's
a
weird
necessity.
too. They're like,
Yeah.
"No, she's weird."
Which is, we'll get her to sign all of the
They're all-
contracts.
They're all
Just-
hanging out with Swinger McCoy with his medallion.
It
I'm
was
sorry.
peak 70s, wasn't it? That like zipper down to here. Yeah.
It was it was glorious. I will say. He shows, and especially with like the beard and everything, you're just like, wow.
Oh, he
This is what
just
we're
came
doing.
from an orgy. Like
No,
they
absolutely.
beamed him directly.
He was in the middle of that lowered floor circle pit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But why
He has
did
shag
McCoy come
carpet
on?
burns on his cheek.
Yeah. McCoy was there because of like the other doctor died, right? Like in that transporter
Quarter accident. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was like horrific. And isn't McCoy historically known for hating the transporter?
Yes. Yeah. Well, isn't like right before he gets beamed on, they were saying that the doctor was refusing to get on the transporter. But
Yeah.
especially when there was just an accident where two people melted, essentially,
Yeah.
I would also be like, put me on a shuttlecraft. I will go over.
Yeah,
I
they got
feel like that's
Brundle-flied.
acceptable.
Yeah.
What?
They got Brundle-flied.
Got Brundle-flied. Oh, God.
I think that's 2 for 2 for me.
I mean, they didn't live very long after they materialized again. So
Thankfully, as the person says over
No,
the
what-
comms,
That was
like what came back? I'm so curious.
like I said, but it looked like while they were trying to materialize on the ship, it looked like they were melting essentially. So maybe it was
they
just
were
like
definitely screaming.
it was like a
Yeah.
bunch of goo with eyes and can move a little bit. Like, who knows? Right? That was terrifying.
Yeah.
And they always talk so much in Star Trek about how safe the transporters are and how there's never transporter accidents. And
Yeah.
I feel like there's often transporter accidents.
It's like every
At
other
least once a
episode
season.
is something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either a transporter malfunction or the holodecks gone wild.
Sometimes both.
Oh, the
Yeah.
holodeck should have been banned like after the first mishap. Like when Sherlock, sorry to get into Next Generation, but when Sherlock Holmes becomes sentient, okay, we got to stop using this thing.
I know,
Like,
but Voyager's just dealing with like holographic people's rights. Like they take it like that far too,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
crazy.
There's a whole
They created
holographic
this whole
revolution.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that! They planted that seed in TNG and hit it off in Voyager.
I mean, they did it. They did that a couple of times in Voyager, that's for sure. Because they had the Ferengis that disappeared in the wormhole
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
episode. That was actually great.
Neelix
When I
got
realized, when I realized that's what was happening, I was just like, "This is amazing." Loved it. Yeah.
They probably like watched it and like, oh shit, they went to the Delta Quadrant. Amazing. Wrote that story.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So one thing that I was completely unaware of, despite actually having watched the motion picture a few times,
Mhm.
I did not pick up on the fact until I sat down and started watching it that TNG's opening sequence uses the music from the motion picture.
Yes. And they use it like 12 times in 10 minutes.
Mhm.
They just kept restarting it.
There were a whole bunch of different variations of it.
Yeah.
As well, which I noticed, and they came up a couple times throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had also forgotten about that part of it, and I was like, wait, what? That was this? For some reason, I thought it was Wrath of Khan, and no, it was this one. And I was like, oh,
the
God.
the score is great for the movie.
Oh, it's amazing. It's the best part of the movie.
Yeah. I think they reuse a couple bits of the score for Wrath of Khan, but like not nearly as heavily. And not like the title sequence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't like there were like points in it where it's like there's like 4 notes, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a thing. But then it was done, in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in the motion picture, they were just playing it so often that I was just like, you can play other music. But also I realized that's probably one of the reasons why they use that music for Next Generation, because they're like, this is too good to just have been wasted on this movie. Mm-hmm. We gotta bring this back. We gotta get in there.
It's funny that you say that they have a lot of money to make this, because it doesn't feel like they had a lot of money to make. And I mean, like, it looks great. There's a lot of stuff. I actually thought like the matte stuff looked really great. The stuff inside V'ger looked awesome. Like I liked a lot of that kind of stuff. There's some really cool visual stuff, but I feel like they used every single thing that they shot. And there is nothing on the cutting room floor. This was an assembly cut that we watched. It was just like, let's just put it all in a row.
I just looked it up.
Same.
Would you like to know the numbers?
Sure.
So, Star Trek the Motion Picture had a budget of $45 million in 1979.
Yeah.
Wrath of Khan in 1982 had a budget of $12 million.
Wow.
That is how bad the motion picture did.
Yeah.
I actually thought like when I said they had a bunch of money to make these movies, I wasn't talking about the motion picture. I was talking about the movies after the motion picture. I, for some reason, just assumed, I'm like, well, they obviously got more money, so why aren't they putting that money into it? But it turns out it was the complete opposite. Okay, never mind. That's why they reuse those shots. I understand now.
Yeah, it's not until
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. It's not until First Contact where the budget gets back up to $46 million.
Oh.
Wow.
That's even for that time period, that's pretty low for a
96 movie.
Yeah. I would have thought it would have been around like maybe like 80 to $100 million they would have gotten for that.
Yeah. That makes it that much more impressive. That CGI and the like actual model work that's done in that.
Yeah, it's
super impressive.
I feel like I actually think this is in Wrath of Khan. No, because there was, I think it was in Wrath of Khan, but like the only effect I found in that movie that did not work was anytime they showed the outside of, it was mostly at the beginning, and they would show the outside of the space station, or they showed the outside of a shuttlecraft, but they'd have like the people standing in like the window. And it's like, it's clearly they've like placed a video on that, and I was just like, oh, that looks bad. But like the shuttle looked cool and the background looked cool, but just that little piece looked horrible.
I forget. I think it was Kirk and Scotty in the shuttle pod.
Yeah.
And I forget. I forget as well if it was motion picture or Wrath of Khan, but they're like inspecting the hull or something.
Motion picture.
Yeah, and so they come kind of towards the screen and make a turn, and it just looks like a black and white cardboard cutout. It's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Well, you get to watch the entire journey though, so that's good.
Yeah.
My note on that is, I'm like, these shots of the ship, though pretty, are way too long. That is literally my note.
You're right. It's like in real time. This is how long it would take the shuttle from the station to the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Well, it's like every visual shot they do. Like when you first go into V'ger, it's very long and drawn out. When
they go into warp.
When they go into warp, and then the asteroid messes. Oh, I hate that sequence.
Well, I find there's so many shots of people that are completely silent, and they're looking either shocked or amazed or constipated at something. And it's like, and they keep cutting from the scene to their faces and just lingering on their faces. And you're just like, they're not doing anything. Why am I looking at them?
They were watching the cold open, which we already saw. The movie took the time to show it again.
Yeah. And I was just like, are you kidding? Like, why are we still doing this? Why are we still here? What is happening?
Speaking of the editing for this movie, this was directed by the editor of Citizen Kane.
Oh.
No,
isn't that
really?
wild? Yeah. He also directed West Side Story, which is also insanely long for no reason. So,
But wasn't I thought I had read somewhere that this movie was originally supposed to be like either a made-for-TV movie or like a mini series on TV.
Yeah.
But then because of the popularity of Star Wars that came out 2 years before, they're like, no, we're gonna push it to a movie theater. And that happened to be one of the reasons why like the pacing is weird, because it was like, no, this is TV pacing, not movie pacing.
Yeah, it was called Star Trek Phase 2. They had concept art and all this stuff for it. Like they were going to make another series like in the 70s. And it never happened. It just didn't happen. And then, yeah, Star Wars got super popular and they're like, all right, movies.
Movie it is, right?
Yeah. I was actually thinking, like, I don't actually hate motion picture as much as everybody in the world does. I think its cardinal sin is that it's boring, which is why I'm going to talk about how long everything takes. But I was thinking, like, they could take out 40 minutes of this. If it's 2 episodes of TV, that'd be 2 pretty good episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah,
like I'd be completely fine with it if it was like within a season. You know what I mean?
I wonder if is there like an edit of it? Is there like a fan edit just to make it better? Tighten it up, shorten it. I wonder if that exists. I would watch that.
Yes, I would definitely watch. Like if this was like
Topher Grace on it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Like if this was an hour and 20 minutes and all of those like random shots of people just staring at nothingness was cut out. And her just like walking around the ship saying V'ger, V'ger, V'ger every 5 minutes. I was just like, shut up. We know what it is. Just go. Just do something. This would be
the Kirk unit will acquiesce to my request.
But that's the thing. Like, I think the concept of the movie is really cool. I think the idea of V'ger/Voyager coming back home is very cool. I just think how it's presented, like you said, Josh, is just really boring. And they spent half the movie not doing anything. And you're just like, come on, just do something.
I wrote this down because I was very bored. It took them 37 minutes to leave.
Yep. I also had a clock on for all the dry dock stuff.
Yeah, that was 5 minutes. But like, I don't mind them taking a while to leave. If like I actually kind of enjoyed the stuff around the ship not working. But yeah, well, once they leave and there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
I can't say there's nothing, but I agree with Tracy that the V'ger story is kind of interesting, but it takes so long to get to it.
Yeah. One of the things that I've heard and kind of is like sort of the basis of Star Trek, like all of the tension in the episodes is like, oh, something needs to happen. So it's like, oh, we need to get our people off the planet, but the transporters are down. So it's like something is always broken, and that's what leads to the tension of like the episode. But like after they sort of met up with V'ger, nothing was really broken. It was just kind of like, how do we communicate? Which I guess a kind of communication line's broken sort of thing. I don't know, but I don't know where I was going with that thought. But that's
it's very straight.
There wasn't like a B plot, I think.
Yeah. I was just saying that breaking it up into like 2 episodes would make sense. Like the first part is like we can't get the ship to work, and the second part is about V'ger, like 2 completely independent stories.
Yeah, it's a very like if you just lay out like what happens in the movie, like first of all you're like, what is that, like 15 minutes long? And they're like, no, it's a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
But it's very much like, there's a ship explodes in space or disappears. We got to figure it out. Then they leave to go get it. They arrive. One of their crew members gets taken by the alien species or whatever. Then they find the source of it, figure out that it was us all along, and then they leave. That's the movie.
Yes. There are whole episodes of like, especially like TNG and Voyager and stuff, where literally all of that happens. And they figure out how to communicate with something, solve the problem, get on with their day. And that's what, 44 minutes, 45 minutes tops. And you're here over 2 hours and you're just like, oh, you have a bunch of dead air in this movie. Got it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, like one of my favorite storylines from the original series is Kirk breaks a machine like with logic, or like the machine's killing the crew and he has to talk it out of it. There's 2 or 3 episodes like that, and there's one where I can't remember what the name of the robot is, but it thinks Kirk is its creator, so it's kind of like, similar to V'ger actually.
Yeah.
And it's like a box that's like hovering throughout the ship and just zapping people. I really enjoy that episode, but in the movie they just don't do it. It's just not entertaining.
Yeah, they didn't do it as well.
Yeah, it's probably one of the worst examples of it.
I feel like they probably had like an episode idea that was supposed to be 45 minutes. And they're like, can we just like stretch this out and make it a movie? And they're like, okay, well, let's extend this sequence. We can put in some extra shots of shocked faces. We will show the vastness of the entity. And, we'll have Spock take acid trip through a cloud, like
My favorite
I
part
forgot about
was
that.
after they finally left, they get into a wormhole immediately, and then everything's in slow motion.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
with the like blur lines between all the frames.
Just
yeah.
so we know
Yeah.
it's slow.
Yeah. Well, they kept yelling 20 seconds. I'm like, that was 3 minutes ago. What are you talking about 20 seconds? You said 22 seconds 5 minutes ago. What are you even doing? Like, this is crazy. I did find it interesting in the credits, actually, to rewind this, because I was like, this is not what I'm seeing. But apparently Isaac Asimov was a special science consultant on this movie. And my question with Isaac Asimov, like, is he the consultant for like motion through space, or do you think he was the consultant for like robotic I don't know, programming? Like, no, V'ger would want to come home because this is what his program said to do.
Yeah, I think it'd be V'ger.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like it's got to report home, but home hasn't answered.
And isn't there also a species of techno, like robot people that intercepted it as well? That seems very Asimov-y to me. Sorry, did I cut you off, Tim? Sorry.
No.
I feel like they don't like that whole idea was just all of Spock seeing visuals and be like, this must be his home planet. It was just his postulating of what he is seeing. It's never like, this is where V'ger is for. Even V'ger doesn't say like, I was somewhere and this thing happened. It was more like, I went to the end of the earth or world and came back. I don't know. But that was one of the things that I was kind of confused about. I'm just like, wait, was there actually like a robot planet? And that's why he thinks carbon life forms are a parasite that need to be destroyed from it. Like, that part wasn't clear to me.
Yeah, that might have been a Wikipedia lookup at one point for me as well, just to be like, wait, what? But yeah, actually, that was my favorite 25-minute sequence in the movie with Spock floating through space. Very 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, it was good.
Through all those apparatuses or the apertures. Yeah,
I thought that stuff looked really cool. It all looked like 1970s sci-fi novel covers. Like those were all really cool.
Absolutely.
So really,
it just
cool.
took way too long.
It took so long.
Well, I think that sequence wouldn't have felt so long if all the sequences before had been like cut tighter. You would have been like, oh, this is amazing. Look at the stuff. But because you've sat through so much nothingness already, you were just like, can we just get there? We just want to get there. Just let this happen.
One thing I think was a big miss. I think they should have used this as the genesis of the Borg. I think that would have been like a cool tie into that movie and made the movie even maybe a little bit more interesting, you know.
But do you think that's where the idea for the Borg came from?
I don't know.
I could see it being like a seed for it.
I mean, it could have been just a throwaway line in any of the Borg episodes or movies. It's like that they like mention V'ger or whatever, but I feel like Star Trek was like motion picture didn't exist. It starts with Wrath of Khan was one.
Yeah.
It's like season 2 of Friday Night Lights. It just never happened. It just never.
It was a gas leak season.
Yeah.
Everybody wakes up all of a sudden like, what happened? Oh, don't worry about it. Anyways, it's fine.
Everyone was on vacation.
Yes.
It was a really weird beige dream I had. And McCoy smelled like sex. It was weird.
And the security officers looked like 1920s football players. Like it was such a weird choice.
They have like a weird leather
helmet. Like it's triangle. It's so strange.
I don't even remember that. I watched the movie 2 days ago. I don't remember that part.
They're always standing in the background. You see them on the bridge as well.
He like steps forward to like grab someone at some point, I think.
Yeah.
But I forget who or why.
It's one of the worst costumes in Star Trek ever.
Oh, absolutely.
I think all of the uniforms in this are the worst. I'm sorry, Josh.
Josh is gesturing to his Zoom background.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm like, this is an audio medium, so pointing at things.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. This was a joke for the room, but I'm afraid it applies. There is a person. I'm not going to say a man because I have no idea. That has a penis for a head in one of the crowd shots in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I think it's when they're all watching the cold open.
Yeah, it is.
Watching the recap.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
When Kirk is
a giant penis costume, you're like, just put goggles on it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Wait, so is this from when Kirk is telling them about the dangers of V'ger? I mean, they don't know what's called V'ger yet, but
yeah.
I noticed in the crowd they had an indigenous actor. Yeah, and they dressed him up like a 1950s like cowboy and Indian like movie. Like it was nuts.
Oh no!
Oh my God!
Oh no!
Just so out of place.
Now I got to go back and check out this crowd. Be like, oh my God! I missed
there's
that
a lot
guy.
of interesting people in the crowd.
Yeah,
as Josh's picture shows.
That room, though, I think that room is something you never see again, and I think that would absolutely exist on a ship that size. Like this,
he called it the recreation room or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It kind of looked like a shuttle bay, though.
Yeah,
totally.
Well, in the animated series, there is an episode where they go to the quote unquote recreation room, and it's a room with a center panel, and it's essentially like a early holodeck, which I didn't realize was there before, but it only produces outdoor environments, so not like interactive things or whatever. And like I think it's like Uhura and McCoy and somebody else gets trapped in there when there's something going wrong with the ship. And I was like, is this supposed to be that space? And is that why it's so big? Because apparently in the show, you can get to the edges. Like the animated series episode, at least, you can get to the edges. And then you find the edge that's how they get their way out of there. So maybe that's what it is. It's just that space, but just the thing isn't turned on.
I mean, that would make sense too. There would be some sort of precursor, and like we almost have that kind of technology now with VR. We can simulate lots of different environments.
Yes, yeah, but it's like I guess it's like a town hall room or like a really big meeting room, or it's like a gymnasium in a school when you got to get everybody together. It's there you go. Yeah. It's necessary.
How does a holodeck work exactly? Like, if I run in a room, how am I not hitting the wall?
Floors moving.
Do I just think that I'm running?
Just redirecting. Yeah.
Okay, so they explain that a holodeck is it's photons was it contained by like small force fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's for like the people and the trees and stuff.
Yeah, so for anything that it's like rendering, that's like how it renders. So for walking and not hitting the edge, I
Mhm.
don't know exactly how that would work, but I would guess that like maybe like it puts like a layer of like sand underneath and then like I don't know, somehow uses the force fields to move you or like to make it feel like you're moving. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's the best guess I
Well,
have.
I actually think they explained this in one of them where it's like you can't like if you have more than one person in a holodeck, and you cannot go too far apart, right? Because it's something to do with the spatial awareness of the programming. And
Mhm.
if you're following a group of people together, you will never hit a wall. But if you have people going in opposite directions, because the computer cannot separately render the spaces, you will hit the wall, if I
Oh,
remember correctly.
What about that Barkley episode? Aren't they
Which
What
all over the
about
place?
that one?
Yeah, they're all over the place.
wait,
But I
which
guess they're in the room really close to each
sorry,
other. They just don't realize it.
sorry, which I'm trying to think of which episode you're
The
talking about.
one where he's like super inappropriate with all the crew, and he's got
Yeah,
like
oh,
Diana and Riker is
he's
like super
definitely in the wrong
short.
there.
Oh,
Like,
and
and I feel
they're
like they're
like
His gross holodeck fantasy episode.
fantasy.
yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Is that the one where he gets super smart, or is that the one where we first meet him and he's just addicted to the
I
holodeck?
think it's the
Oh
first.
my
I
god,
think
it's
it's
first meet him. That's
It's the first
awful. That was
time.
awful. I mean, knowing what we know of the man now, sure, but that was not a great introduction to a character.
Yeah, he went off the deep end in real
He like
life.
totally emasculates Picard.
Yeah. And Wesley, because he's like a sniveling
Oh
blue
yeah.
boy or whatever.
Oh, but
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
that's
great when
true, though.
Riker meets like his Barclays version of Riker.
Yeah, because Riker is like full time all the time. He's like, "Oh, this is hilarious! It's
Yeah.
hilarious." As soon as he meets himself, he's like, "Nope."
It's not funny anymore. Don't
Yeah,
like it.
and then Deanna's like the goddess on a swing or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then he won't let her turn the program off. Oh, it's great.
So bad.
Didn't age well, but yeah, it's great.
I like Broccoli. He's great. I love
Yeah.
him. He gets better, so I don't mind.
Mhm.
One thing I did find interesting, I know I'm gonna take you right back to the beginning of the movie,
Oh, sorry.
is
Can I jump in one thing more with the holodeck?
yeah.
Is it kind of like that episode of Rick and Morty where the simulation, the quality just slowly degrades for
Oh, and you
like
could jump off
people
the edge?
for like people aren't who for like people who aren't like the main character in the
yeah.
story. So it's
Yeah.
like for like Rick and Morty, they're like it's like super high fidelity, but then for like the father, it's like apples, just eat them, and that's his marketing plan, and everybody's like, oh yeah, great idea, and like things are like glitching out around him and rendering it like 2 FPS.
I will say it's got apples because later he tries to actually do that in the real world. They're like, that's just got milk. What are you doing? I just think that
Yeah.
whole extra is hilarious. Um, yes. Early episodes of Rick and Morty were quite fantastic. We'll see.
It hasn't held up.
I think it's gotten too referential in itself, therefore it is being what is I don't even know what the right word for this. It's full of itself. Let's just put it that way. It's just so
Okay.
full of itself that
Yeah.
it's not even funny anymore. That you're just
What?
like, oh
You mean Pickle Rick isn't like amazing to you?
no. I
But
was
he's
like,
a pickle now. So, you know, that's 22 minutes of comedy right there.
yes, indeed. Indeed.
I'm gonna go
I
yell
think
about it at a McDonald's now.
I just want to say, I think it's really funny that all of my other episodes, I tangent randomly into Star Trek, and now I'm talking
Mhm.
about Star Trek and we tangent randomly into other things. I'm like, this is glorious.
This is
like
how it
that-
should
love
be,
it.
Tracy.
It's like that Family Guy episode. Remember that one, everybody?
I'm pretty sure that was Star Wars though, not Star Trek.
Yeah, sadly.
Oh, they definitely make Star Trek references
Oh, for sure, for
in
sure.
there.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Well, Seth MacFarlane
Seth
wanted to
MacFarlane.
make a Star Trek show, but so he couldn't, and made oh, what's it called? Thank you, The
Orville.
Orville.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't wait for
And he's
season
done
4.
he's done kind of a great job at it. So I can't be too mad at his pretentiousness. It's fine. I will accept it. It's okay. It's fine. Anyway,
I really enjoy the Family Guy Star Wars ones. My son just recently got really into Star Wars, so I can't wait till he's older and I can show him the Family Guy ones because I feel like that'll just be
he's too young to watch the Family Guy ones
I
now.
know.
But
I want I
Robot
keep
Chicken
almost
though.
referencing them. Oh, that's true.
Robot Chicken's probably skews a little younger.
It does.
I still think
Yes,
it might be too old. My son's 9, so
yeah, it's probably still a little too old. He's either not gonna get half the because it's not like there's not like cussing or anything, and it's not like overly sexualized on the Robot Chicken. But of course, they are so good at finding like the most random references, like Family Guy, that your son will just be like, "What does that mean? I don't know what that is. What is happening?"
Kids don't ask that; they just watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the hell's an aluminum falcon? It's fine.
One of the best skits.
That's so good. Also, I know we mentioned this before, but I need to talk about these uniforms and the random costume changes throughout the movie. I don't know if you guys picked up on this or if it was just me, but so as far as I can tell, I know their mission is over something like 30 hours, which is like a day and a little bit, right? And throughout the movie, none of them go like, they don't take a break because this is really important, blah, blah, blah. They're all on shift the whole time. But there's a bunch of scenes where they just like cut away to like them staring at something, and then you cut back to like Kirk, and he's got a different beige uniform. And then they cut away and they cut back, and he's got a different beige uniform. Because there's like the onesie, and then there's like the pants with the top with the weird belt buckle on it. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, when are you guys going back and forth doing these changes? Like, what is happening? Anybody else notice this?
I did not pick up on that at all.
I didn't either.
Oh.
No, I know I didn't notice quite the change, but there are a lot of variation of uniforms, which is like insane. Like, how much extra work would that be?
And
Yes.
they're such boring uniforms too. I'm inspired.
Yeah. And I also think the lightness of the color are very unforgiving, especially a bunch of guys in the onesies. You're just like, I have to look at your face. I'm looking up.
I don't. Wink.
Like, it was just really inappropriate at times. I was just like, oh no, this is wrong.
I think that's the Gene Roddenberry like element of it, isn't it? No?
Really?
Yeah, I feel like Gene was a little inappropriate with that kind of stuff.
I feel like he was that with the ladies, or else those like smocks they got to wear would have been just like 2 inches longer. Like
Absolutely.
they were ridiculously short for no reason. And especially even on a science vessel or whatever, you can't function properly in something where your butt's gonna hang out the back of it all the time. Like, it's crazy to me.
I mean, it's also this movie sort of has those old folks, they still got it. It's got a little bit of that element to it, which I always hate. It always feels like, the guys that made this getting older, huh?
Yeah.
I do like that the actors lean into it though, that they're not fighting it. And they're only in their 50s in this, maybe?
No, I think they're still younger than that.
Yeah.
Late 40s?
Yeah. I think they hit their like 50s in Wrath of Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's where they are in Wrath of Khan, but
they don't look young.
No.
They don't.
They don't try and hide it like some James Bond movies do. Like Roger Moore's gone. They've done one or two too many, or he's still getting the young babes. Like Kirk, like even in older movies, I think the women are pretty age appropriate. And in 4, it's a joke when he kind of hits on, can't think of her name, but she's the one who cares about the whales.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh no, you're like my dad." I mean, she doesn't say that, but it's something. She's kind of implying that, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. You're like, no. This is
you're an old man
not
right now.
a thing that's happening.
You don't know anybody else in this century, so obviously, and she's like, no, still no.
He's like, trust me, there's lots of people around. I will find someone else. It's gonna be okay. Yeah.
What's up with Sulu? What's his deal?
He likes his sword play.
And San Francisco.
I can't wait to talk about the costumes in that movie because glorious. I love it.
That's actually one thing that I noticed in I think both of these shows. There's not a lot of Sulu time. Chekhov has way more lines.
Well, especially in Wrath of Khan, like
yeah.
he has like an actual role to play.
Yeah, and I mean like that's fair enough, but like even in the motion picture, like I remember seeing Sulu once. And I don't it wasn't even for that long.
I think it was one of those shots when they were just like staring out at something and then they lingered on his face for a minute and that was about it.
Yeah, or it was like navigator, set course, whatever, and it's like Kirk saying that while looking forward and like Sulu's in the background and like oh okay.
Didn't George Takei write a book like just slamming like Shatner and like just talking about the whole process and like if that came out before the movie, I wonder if like maybe Shatner had something to do with because like the side characters like they really only focus on Bones and Spock mostly.
Yeah,
and most of the movies do that.
Didn't Shatner mispronounce his name for like 40 years?
Really?
George Takei? Oh no!
Did I just
mispronounce Takei?
Oh shit! I said Takei.
George Takei.
Is it? Or which is it now? Now I'm confused. Now I'm thinking I've been saying it wrong for a long. But like, it's funny because I think I've heard him say like he just got my name wrong every day for.
And probably didn't care.
No.
I would full on correct him every single time he said it wrong. I'd be like, no, it's this. Say it right.
Oh,
yeah, but also I think after working with somebody for that long and they kept getting your name wrong, that's just disrespectful. That's all it is.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine who spells their name a little differently from the normal, and whenever they get an email and it's addressed to them, but the person sending the email spells it wrong,
yeah,
she'll correct them the first time, and then every subsequent time, they'll just incorrectly spell the person sending the email's name. So like it's like the first one's like, "Hey Janet, this is actually how you spell my name," and then the next time it's like, "Oh, hello, Jonette," and then just like progressively get worse and worse and worse over time. And I think that's a really good strategy. I like it.
Yeah.
As a person with two first names, I get a lot of like, "Hi James," even though my name is Tracy, and so I'm just like I will just sign it with Tracy so they know. But if they keep responding with like James, I'll be like, "Hi, my name is Tracy," and then fill in the rest of the email, you know. But that's been happening literally my whole life. So I don't know. I'm kind of over it right now.
And emails are always last name first, so you're set up to fail.
But I have like a signature at the bottom of my email that says, my name in the correct order. But nobody even looks at that, apparently.
There's no comma separating them.
Yeah.
I mean, James Tracy sounds like a pretty cool detective, so.
I mean, maybe I can solve some crimes in an alternate universe.
Now, this is a weird tangent, but I grew up in Quebec, and neither of my names make any sense in French.
Mm-hmm.
So I just grew up with I knew they were talking to me because they had a look on their face that they couldn't say whatever the name was going to be. So like they just say like Michel Tremblay, all these other Mr. Robert, and then it'll be Georges Ratcliffe, and that's me. Yeah.
But isn't there like a thing with one of the species in Star Trek where their first name is actually it's Bajorans, isn't it? Where their first name is actually their last name. So like Kira Nerys is actually her real name is actually Nerys, not Kira. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Yeah.
that's how it is in Japan too, right? They say the last name first on the.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the situation.
No, it's like when you're introducing yourself, you will say your last name first, and then your it'll go surname, given name.
Ah.
And I think um I want to say it was in TNG when they introduce Rolaren.
Mhm.
Kirk or Picard was like, "Oh, uh," and then he did it right, and then Ro was like, "Ah, thank you."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a scene in his reading room, I think,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
explains it, or he explains it, one of the two.
See, so they have these name problems in the future as well as now. It's not just us.
Mhm.
It's just how things are. It's
And the
how it
universal
works.
translator doesn't even take care of it for you. What the hell is it?
Sons of
What
bitch.
use is it?
See, this
Throw
goes
it
back to my
out.
question from last episode. What's the deal with the universal translator? It's so confusing. It annoys me.
Well,
And
and
It's the most magic thing in Star Trek.
exactly. And also, I wanted to make one more comment about that because while I was editing, I was just like, but what about this? Um, so Discovery, stupid Joe, takes place 10 years before original series, but their universal translator is ship-wide, whereas in original series, they don't have a ship-wide universal translator. They have a specific machine they have to take places that translates stuff.
Mhm.
And I know they're trying to say in Discovery that, oh, it was a special ship and blah, blah, blah. And the reason why the technology on it doesn't exist is because people had to just be told to keep quiet about it. Ugh. Um, but I was just like, this whole thing doesn't make any sense anymore. And I just wanted to make that comment. Rant over, I swear. Done.
well, back to the.
I have. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was
Oh,
just
I
gonna
just thinking
say
about anything.
we did it again. I hate that. It's the worst thing in meetings. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm going on mute.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Mine is entirely pointless. I just wanted to say, at an estate sale a few years back, I picked up the bridge to the Enterprise from the motion picture, and it is made of this very cheap, like plastic material. That the kind of plastic as it gets more old, it just like cracks and fragiles. But it had like all the stickers and pieces with it. It was just the coolest piece of Star Trek memorabilia I've ever come across, and I paid like $5 for it.
Sorry. Hold on. This wasn't like used in like a movie or a show or anything, was? Okay.
No, this was like mass produced for sale,
Thing.
but it's not very common. It was kind of rare because they didn't
Yeah.
make any, and it's super cheap. So I'm sure not a lot of them survived.
Yeah.
Um,
You gotta pour like resin all over it to like keep it
yeah,
in like shape or something to keep that going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah, my
Josh. That my thing wasn't.
Oh no, it's fine. I was gonna go back to talking about names.
Yeah.
And say, did you guys notice that Spock kept dead naming V'ger at the end of this movie?
Kept calling it Voyager at the end.
Yeah, it's not cool, man.
But that's just because it didn't actually know what its name was, because the robots apparently don't have like moisture on their fingers to like wipe off the smudge.
Yeah, but it goes by V'ger. We've heard the name V'ger 1,000 times.
Just stick with
Spock
it.
going out of his way
I
to
was
give
just
it
going to
its
say,
Earth name.
yeah, this just proves that even in the distant future, OCR is not as good as it ever is, or it's not 100% still.
I'm sorry, what is OCR? Am I dumb?
It's optical character recognition, so it's like when you scan like a document and then it like turns it into like a Word document for you so that you can actually edit it.
Got it. Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
But
I had to look it up too, Tracy.
Yeah, but it also like just always makes mistakes.
All the time. Yes, you definitely have to reread all of those documents because there's some random word in there. You're just like, what? No.
Yeah.
It's like using Google Translate, right? Where you're just like, translate this, and you're just like, that can't be right. No.
Yeah, it's like it's autocorrect, except the computer read the word for you.
Yes. And you're just like, everything about this is wrong. It's all wrong.
So V'ger or Voyager at this point shows up at this tech planet where everybody on it is a robot, and they don't have any of that air blower stuff to like just dust off the nameplate.
That reminds me of that episode of Futurama where they go to like they have to get lug nuts to this planet, and it's like a robot planet, and they're watching a movie, and like the robots made a movie about the horrors of humans and how like all of their like magnetic fields and like EMPs and stuff did nothing, but a stick just killed it. It's the same thing. They just don't get it. They don't understand the complexities of us carbon-based life forms and how useful we are.
I mean, we have so many liquids.
Smudges.
We're very confusing.
We are
very inefficient.
Sir, you're leaking the coolant at an alarming rate.
Have we complained enough about the motion picture? Have we? I don't know.
I wanted to complain about one more thing.
One more thing? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Decker. That guy sucks.
I kind of like Decker. I don't like the actor, but
yeah. That's
yeah. I always hear he's in this.
I feel for him a little bit, but yeah.
I mean, it's his first. Like, it's his big day, right? He's gonna take out the Enterprise, and then Admiral Kirk shows up and takes it away from him. I'd be kind of pissed too.
Yeah, but he's such a little wiener.
Yeah, kind of is.
And he's really trying to sleep with that girl who has spoken an oath of celibacy that she's very clear about.
Yeah, but I have a feeling this was like a Riker Troy thing. Like they were on some other planet together. They were already getting it on and were making plans, and then their plans got changed based on his promotion. That's what I got out of their storyline.
Do you think that they had an affair and she's like, you know what? Never having sex again.
Yes. Yes, I do.
No, thank you. Not for me.
Apparently, Deltons are just way too sexy, and that's why they have they swear an oath of celibacy when they join Starfleet. Because otherwise,
seriously?
Yeah. Apparently they're just too attractive, so they would just have just like so many people coming after them.
That does not sound like Star Trek. That sounds like Anti-Federation.
I don't know. I'm going based on one paragraph on the Memory Alpha fandom site.
Oh, yeah.
Do they ever show up again?
There is a male Delton that shows up at some point.
Wait, does it say where?
Does it say what series?
I'll look it up again. But
okay. I'm super curious now.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them or hearing about them ever again.
It's probably where Riker got all his training for World's Greatest Sex Machine.
No, that was the Horgon. He had the Horgon on Risa.
On Risa, that's it.
That is possibly one of the best things Riker has ever done.
Oh, it is such a great prank.
To imagine doing that to your boss, like just the balls on that guy.
Yeah, he wants to have a reading vacation. Instead, people are going to constantly offer him sex.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why are people talking to me all the time? I hate this.
Oh, it's so funny.
Get away."
Apparently in Star Trek 3, there's another Delton who is an officer on the Excelsior.
Oh.
Wait, is that the science vessel that gets blown up?
I don't recall. I think the Excelsior. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. The Excelsior is like the big Excelsior class ship, the Sulu ship in Star Trek 6.
Oh, okay.
The Grissom is what blows up, that weird ship with the cell attached to the the warp nacelles. Like, how do they get to the bottom part?
I mean, this is jumping to another movie, but like that ship exploding always gets me because that's like 80 scientists just dead. I mean, I also like fruit. I don't know why that one always bothered me for some reason, and it makes me like really hate Christopher Lloyd's character.
He's
I think he's a great villain.
Klingon looking for a weapon to destroy things. So,
Anyway, so that's for another movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So-
for the next episode.
Yeah. So apparently they show up in 3, 4, 6, an episode of
4?
TNG, and an episode of Picard.
Are they like in the background? I don't remember them being introduced. Do they go into their planet or?
Yeah, in TNG, it says on display. I'm not sure what that means entirely. But it's the episode "The Big Goodbye."
Oh, that's like the Dixon Hill, isn't it?
That's a Dixon Hill episode.
It was episode 1, or sorry, season 1 actually.
Yeah, you can tell it's them because they're like sweating, trying not to have sex with anybody. They're just like, oh.
Are they always bald?
Yeah, they are.
Okay,
they're basically they're indistinguishable from humans except they're bald.
Okay,
interesting.
Because there's no bald humans.
Yeah,
so I'm almost
Do they just have like
World's
alopecia
greatest sex
or
machine.
something? Like I don't.
Yeah.
They have eyebrows.
No, because they have eyebrows. Yeah.
That's true. They do have eyebrows. Interesting.
They're apparently known to wear headdresses, and yeah, their strong sexual attraction could be a distraction for members of other species, which is why they swear an oath of celibacy upon entering service in Starfleet.
Dude, there's a Titan episode right now. Riker has to go to Delta.
Oh my God! Yes, he would not last 5 minutes. He's like, that oath is broken. Let's go.
Season 4 of Enterprise is another episode where they show up. So.
I'm not at season 4 yet, so I'll see it soon-ish.
Yeah.
No, I'm still in season 2. It's fine.
I actually knew about the headdress
season 1.
Well, yeah,
sorry, Josh?
I said I knew about the headdress thing because it's like the only thing they know about. Is it Ilia? That's her name.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing they know about her. Is like sometimes she likes to wear headdresses,
and it's the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life on her head.
And it makes her look even more like a cancer patient.
Yeah.
And I was curious about like the effects being enhanced on the director's edition. So I was watching the non-director's version, and that scene was shorter in that one.
Yeah.
It's like a scene just starts with the headdress on. So in there's a longer version of that scene that they're like, we gotta draw out this headdress thing. It doesn't make any sense if we don't have it to be an extra. We need more Nurse Chapel with the headdress.
She's not a nurse in this. She's an MD, and it really pisses McCoy off because he doesn't want another doctor questioning his motives or his diagnoses.
Well, she's a know-it-all. She sounds just like the computer.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. So before we go to Wrath of Khan, I just want to with the J.J. Abrams movies that are sort of, yes, Kelvin universe, but they follow the same crew with a slightly different path, right? And so his Star Trek movie technically is not this, but like all of the original series sort of put together into like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And do you think that movie actually does justice to the original series and the original crew in this alternate universe? Let's start with Steve.
That's like the most specific question I think you've asked
so far.
Yeah. Wow. I am not a huge fan of the Kelvin timeline.
Oh,
I mean, I enjoyed the 2009 film. I thought, it was a good mix of like classic Star Trek and like blow 'em up stuff. But I just found the other two to just be more blow 'em up stuff than like good story.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I even like some of the cast. Like I like Simon Pegg, and I appreciate that he was a big fan. I like that he had a little sidekick for some reason. I don't know why. With the cool eyes, but I was like, okay, that's kind of cool looking. And I'm generally a fan of like J.J. Abrams stuff. I enjoyed Fringe quite a bit, but yeah, I don't know if they did them. Some of them maybe did them justice. I thought McCoy was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I love Carl Urban as McCoy. He does, it's chef's kiss. Like, I think it's just, He does a great job.
Yeah, John Cho. Yeah, I liked him as Sulu. I didn't really like. I know he passed away, but I wasn't a huge fan of his Chekhov. That was
Really?
okay.
Oh,
I like that they
Anton
gave
something,
him
right?
more.
Anton
John
Yelchin.
Yelchin.
Yeah.
Anton
Yeah.
Yelchin. They gave him more though. They gave him more than Chekhov probably ever had. He
Oh
had
yeah.
like a huge technical background. I did like that, and you know they did a better job at that in the Star Trek movie than they did in the original series. Like Uhura had a much more interesting background than she did in the original series, and really even get into it. And even better now with Strange New Worlds. It's been
Oh
so
yes.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, she's one of the best characters.
Yeah, I don't know if I like Chris Pine for Kirk. Like, I don't know. I thought he was okay, but yeah, yeah, but yeah, they were fun.
I'm gonna say something slightly controversial because people do like this guy, but after I do like Strange New Worlds a lot. But I do not enjoy the guy they have for Kirk on Strange New Worlds. And it made me appreciate
Really?
Chris Pine as Kirk more after they brought in this guy.
I think he's a great Kirk in Strange New Worlds. And he's not doing an impression, which I really appreciate. He's doing his own take on Kirk.
Which I understood, but there is a charisma to his performance that is lacking.
Really?
And I'm like, you're just general. I think it's because too, it's like my vision of Kirk is not, like I said, the original series. It's from these movies, Rathacon on.
Yeah.
And I feel like even though he's not doing an impression of Kirk, he's doing more of a original series Kirk. And I don't like that character. And I think maybe that's what my biggest problem is. Whereas I think Chris Pine more embodies a charisma and an attitude from the movie version of Kirk, which I think is more likable than the original series Kirk. And I think maybe that's what my issue might be.
I like both portrayals, but I don't know his name, but the guy in Strange New Worlds, he's got the swagger of Kirk.
Paul Wesley.
Paul Wesley? Sorry, what's his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah,
Paul
okay.
Wesley.
Like I think he's great. And I didn't like him at first. He ended up growing on me. And now I really like him.
Is it because of the time travel coming to Toronto episode? Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, I like that episode.
I can't believe they can
but
afford to
that
shop
love
at
story is
Roots.
actually interesting too.
First of all, they did not shop at Roost. They did steal those clothing. And B, it also looked like there was still construction all over the streets of Toronto. So this construction is going on for the next what year did that one take place in? Like
2236 or something.
Yeah,
no, they
go back in time.
They come back in time. It's not 20. It's like maybe
It's
21
like near around us.
Yeah, it was like 50 years in the future, maybe 30.
But still, if there's going to be construction in the city for 50 years straight, I have a problem. Okay. I have a real problem.
Why would they stop now? It's been here the entire time I've been here.
It's just proof the Eglinton Crosstown still isn't complete.
Oh my God, yeah. So Tim, what do you think about the J.J. Abrams version of, this crew?
So I saw them when they came out, and I haven't rewatched them since. I might have seen the 2009 film when it came out on Blu-ray as well, but I only saw Into Darkness, and I haven't seen Beyond yet.
That's fine.
It's very episode-y.
Wow.
Okay.
Very episode-y.
So
in fact, they even call it out in the movie.
Yeah.
That it's feeling very episodic lately.
Yeah, but I feel like Beyond has the same problem that that motion picture has, where you're just like you're wasting a bunch of time. Just
too
do
slow.
The thing.
Yeah.
Just get it over with. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm very just entertain me. I will watch the film.
Yeah.
And I think both Star Trek and Into Darkness did a good job there. Similar. I love Simon Pegg. He I think is a great Scotty. I think, yeah, for the most part, the casting is very well done. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of like it's more of the same. I don't remember the details of the plot of the first movie, but I do remember getting towards the climax and a little bit past that of Into Darkness, and I'm like, hang on a sec, this scene is mirrored.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's kind of like a fun new twist.
Do you want the plot points of that first Star Trek movie?
Sure.
So you have the Kelvin ship that is in space, which while so a portal opens and a Romulan ship from the future comes through, and they destroy the Kelvin ship, and at the time at the helm is Kirk's father, who dies while his mother is giving birth on a shuttlecraft, and they go back to Earth, and then you find out that Kirk's, he doesn't
Big
have that
Beastie Boys fan.
Yeah,
Boys
yeah.
fan. He doesn't have that inspiration that his father was supposed to be in his life to go into Star Trek. Sorry, to get into the Federation and become a captain, all this kind of stuff. So he's sort of like a troublemaking delinquent.
Right. I
And
remember this start. Yeah.
yes, and at a point in time, Pike finds him at a bar when he gets into the fight and encourages him to join Starfleet, which he does. Where Spock is already like ahead of him and all this kind of stuff.
And the
He ends up
Kobayashi
on
Marus.
yeah, and he like cheats. They do the whole sequence. He ends up on so Vulcan is being attacked, and he ends up on the Enterprise because he's friends with Bones. They go there.
Right, and then they got the big wrecking ball that's like shooting a laser into the planet.
Yes, yeah. So
And they
the
brought
Romulan
thing or
ship.
something.
Yeah,
The
and they
Romulan
brought
ship.
Spock back into the future or into the past with them so that he could watch it die.
Well, no. What
No,
happened
Spock
is
was
that
chasing.
Spock was pulled into the rift the Romulan ship was going in, but even though he feels like it was seconds behind, it was actually like 20 years or 25 years or
Okay.
whatever. And then they capture him and they make him watch his Vulcan
planet die.
get destroyed because the
Yeah.
Romulans had to watch Romulus be destroyed, and he was supposed to save them.
Right.
And then he's subordinate, and then so because Pike gets captured by the Romulans because he goes over to negotiate with them.
But
And
before he left, he's like, Kirk, you're in command of the ship.
actually, no, it was Spock that was in charge of the ship. And then Kirk was being subordinate, and Spock kicks him off the ship. And he gets put on this like ice planet where he meets future Spock. And he's like, I'm your friend. He's like, no, we're not. And blah, blah, blah. There's a conversation. But on this planet is where Scotty is stuck with his sidekick. And they figure out a way to get onto the Enterprise. Because Scotty's so smart and stuff and figures it out.
It's like,
they get on the
yes,
ship.
you invented this equation for mid-warp transport.
Yes, exactly.
Which I hated.
I don't know. I kind of liked it. It was just supposed to show how smart Scotty actually is.
It makes it Star Warsy where you can go anywhere like in a blink of a second. Like not anywhere, but
you're just doing the math of like, okay, where do I need to teleport in order to get there while something's at warp? So it's like it's and it also I kind of like that because it's a little bit of a nod to transparent aluminum, where it's like, who's to say that he didn't invent that equation in the first place?
Exactly. It's all
sorry,
there.
transparent aluminum. I don't know that.
That's from Voyage
that's
Home.
from the
Get
whales
your shit
one.
together.
Sean.
They're from my Star Trek cars.
Yes,
and I love that movie.
Computer.
And then
computer.
So they get back there, and he compromises Spock's emotions. So Spock has to has to remove himself from being the captain, and then he takes over, and then they save Pike and destroy the Romulan vessel, and they go back to Starfleet Academy and they graduate, and yay, they're on the ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the movie.
I remember more of that than I thought.
Oh, yeah. He goes from Starfleet Academy to captain.
Yes.
That is insane.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, within it, like they kind of show it's sort of the same problem I have with like Burnham going from prison to being captain, but this is even faster. But also like Kirk actually shows he has like an ability to like take charge of the situation and make decisions and like save the day. Whereas Burnham was like, I just didn't mutiny again, therefore I should be captain. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean,
Wouldn't everyone above an ensign be pissed off about this? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they would.
I've been busting my ass in Starfleet for 10 years. I'm a
yeah, this sounds like me.
Yeah.
God damn it, Geordi.
So,
I'm going back to the holodeck where all my characters love me.
yeah.
Yeah, I spent all my time in the holodeck.
I do have one anecdote about this movie though, is that when that first Star Trek movie came out, they had a promotion with Burger King where you can get like glasses that have all of the ships from the movies on it. And guess who has all 4 of them?
Ooh.
Who's got 2 thumbs and named Tracy?
James.
So cool.
James, did James get all 4 glasses?
James is the coolest.
So Sean, what do you think about J.J. Abrams' idea of this world?
I find the movie is very much like a Fast and the Furious movie. Or I heard that comparison once, and especially the third one.
The third one, definitely, yes.
Sorry, or parts of the third one and the second one. I really like the first one. I can't stand the second one, and I like the first half of the third one.
Oh, we're going to talk about the second one a lot in a second.
Oh,
sorry, Tim had his hand up for a second. What's going on, Tim?
I forgot one thing about the J.J. Abrams version of Star Trek. It's very shiny.
Oh yes, with all
lots
the
of
lens
lens flares.
Yeah,
yep.
The lens flare. Yeah. Josh, what do you think about his vision of original series?
Well, I'm a big fan of 09. Like a very big fan of 09, actually. I'm gonna do a very long, drawn out simile to James Bond for these ones, right? So like I kind of see the 09 one like Casino Royale, where it kind of like restarts a thing, very shiny, very new, takes a lot of elements from the old thing and kind of redoes it. And that's like my favorite James Bond movie. But like as for Into Darkness, hey, that's a cat. I like that cat. As for that one, it's sort of like the one after Casino Royale, where it's like, yeah, it's not as good. I understand that it's not as good, but I also kind of think like a good half of the Star Trek movies suck.
Yeah.
So like in terms of like if I'm scaling it there, not that bad. Like it's sort of like James Bond movies. A lot of those are terrible. Yeah. They're really bad. They're fun. I mean, like I could totally watch them.
Yeah, I've been rewatching them lately, and yeah, some of them are rough.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he goes to space. Sorry,
yeah,
James Bond goes to space, not Star Trek. I was talking about James Bond going to space.
I will say one thing that was really smart of J.J. Abrams to do, or whoever the writers was for that movie, I probably should look it up and give them proper homage, is that they got the fanboys off their back by going to a new timeline. So there's no fanboys can't yell at them about like, yeah, but that can't happen because this was happening, blah, blah, blah. So it just kept that argument out of it. They're like, no, this is a completely different timeline. What we've seen before, that history, besides Kirk and Spock or her and stuff being born, the history is different.
Yeah.
So it's fine. We can do whatever we want.
Probably the problem that they had with Into Darkness was that they were staying too close to the source material.
Yes.
They did a remix rather than like a cover version rather than their own like piece that kind of references it or winks at it maybe.
Yeah.
So like it sort of lacks some drama. And I think a lot of people bring up the part where spoiler, it's revealed that it's Khan.
Mm-hmm.
and the music kind of swells up as if that's supposed to be like a big reveal. But in the context of the movie, there's like, cool. That's a cool name, bro. Why didn't you tell us that before? That means nothing to us.
Yeah, especially like if you've only seen the two new Star Trek movies, there's no reference to him at all. You have to like actually know who Khan was from like the original series, or watch
There's
the
even
Wrath-a-Khan.
a pause after he says it, like for pause. People are going to react to this.
It's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's that guy that we haven't mentioned before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even because also in the new timeline, they had not met Khan before as they do in Wrath-a-Khan and Space Seed. Like Space Seed didn't happen. Therefore, you saying Khan, people are just like, and what we didn't do this yet. So your name is not going to trigger anything. So you saying it all dramatically and drawn out is not going to have the same effect as if I had met you before and be like, oh shit, it's that guy again. It's not the same feeling.
He's talking about fine Corinthian leather.
Yes. So I will say when I saw Space Seed, I was super disappointed in that episode. I was like, oh, it's this shit. And then I saw Wrath-a-Khan, I was like, oh, they did this justice though. Like it was I will say, every time I watch Wrath-a-Khan, I am shocked at how much I like it and how good it is for what it essentially is, where the good guy and the bad guy don't actually meet, but they just have video chats the whole movie.
They're having a COVID month. They're just like, no, we got to stay in. It's all Zoom meetings now.
But sometimes when you have these constraints, it makes for a better movie. Like he couldn't get the actors to work at the same time, so that this is the way it ended up, and it made for that like submarine style movie where they never actually meet, but they're constantly battling.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Roberto Montalban, what's his name? Ricardo. Yeah, sorry, Montalban. He chews scenery like it's bubblegum, but like good bubblegum, like Bubblicious or something. And you're just like, he's just at it. And you just love every second of it. And especially on when he's like, this is City of a Vibe. And then he like takes off his windbreaker, whatever you want to call it. And then he's got this like cleavage cut out. You're just like, yes, this is all happening so well.
Well, that's why they couldn't get them in the same room, because Montalban was just constantly pumping iron.
Yeah.
Is Ricardo Montalban secretly a Delton?
Maybe.
For sure.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, that's definitely a wig. Yeah.
I find it funny because I rewatched the Khan episode like recently, like I don't know, within the last 6 months, and I don't find him that charismatic in the episode.
No.
But man, the movie, amazing!
It's fantastic.
But Chekhov is not in Spacey. He wasn't on the Enterprise yet.
Is this season 1? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I must.
Yeah. He shows up in season 2.
Yeah,
that was why I didn't know that. Who
Khan was. He should not have been like, oh shit, it's the Botany Bay. We have to leave. He should not have had that reaction.
I was gonna say my first note is, did he just forget where they dropped him? Like, it's like, oh wait, that name, it sounds familiar. I'm sure it's nothing. Let's just go down with, it's just me and the captain, no security crew with us. Let's just check out. Hey, look, a cargo ship. That's definitely what we expected to find. Let's just head in.
Yeah. I do find it interesting in the Star Trek universe that even if they're like, oh, there's oxygen and whatever in the atmosphere, they're like, we're head down and take off our helmets immediately just because there's oxygen here. And I'm like, that doesn't mean there isn't other things that can kill you.
You've got to see the actors' faces.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason. It drives me nuts in movies and TV when someone takes their helmet off in battle, or everyone's wearing a helmet but the main actors aren't, because you want to see their faces.
Yeah.
It always takes me out of it.
You're like, why? And I think that's the reason why Dread worked so well.
Yes,
the whole
100%.
movie. You're like, no, you just see his frowny face the whole time.
It's just his scowl the whole movie. It's the best.
Like, this is amazing. But you know exactly who it is.
Yeah, it's Bones.
It's Bones. Except in that movie, he's breaking bones, not healing them.
I saw that movie at Midnight Madness at TIFF, and it was like the opening night one, and Carl Urban was there, and he introduced
so did I, Josh.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
I didn't know you
we
back
were there.
then.
No, we did not. And he opened it up with, "Let's go, motherfuckers." The best
night ever. I love it.
Yeah.
I will say with this movie, it's very surprising that they didn't move the music from, like, they created a full new theme in the motion picture, and then you come to Wrath of Khan and they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna do something completely different.
Yeah, that was actually another thing. I didn't really pick up on any leitmotifs or anything like that. So Khan doesn't, at least from what I heard, didn't really have a theme that played whenever he was gonna show up or suspicion of showing up or anything like that. So yeah, it's definitely not soundtrack, but scoring wise, it felt weaker than motion picture.
I love the score from The Wrath of Khan. James Horner.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, what do you mean? The score of Wrath of Khan is, despite not having that kind of motif put in there, the score is fantastic.
Maybe it's just because nothing stood out to me. I don't know.
Oh, there's a lot of horns. I don't know. You got to listen. I actually, that's something I put on when I need to just do work and not think about anything. I will put on Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan soundtrack. Wow, that's weird to say out loud.
I have a question. I have a question for the group, but especially Sean, because I know he will respond to this question.
Yes.
Did the score remind you of Die Hard?
No, never.
Really? I had to look it up to see. I was like, did this guy also do Die Hard? It sounded so much like Die Hard to me.
Yeah, no, that never popped in my head.
Which, it's another cool action movie from the 80s. It makes sense that it would be a similar scape. But I just thought that was a weird thing. A couple little motifs in there that sounded familiar.
I really love the score during the battle scenes.
Can I say something weird though? It sort of kind of felt like a superhero movie, like Superman, or even Indiana Jones. I know it's not John Williams, but it had that sort of
grandeur.
It had that grandeur to it that made me feel like I can save people too. And I was like, that's not what this movie's about, but it's fine.
Your mouth is so blue, Tracy.
Notes.
Is my mouth blue?
Yeah.
It's old Romulan ale.
All right, so I this was not before we started recording. I had mentioned, as a celebration of doing this recording, I found 3 recipes for Romulan ale online, and I made all 3 recipes, and I've been drinking it as we have been talking. So if I start to slur, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm 2.5 in, so
there's a reason it's illegal.
There's a reason it's illegal. Oh my God. I'm gonna have trouble tomorrow. It's fine. It's fine.
I wouldn't be surprised if my mouth is a little blue. I've just been chomping on blueberries all stream, so
that also works. Yes, that also works. So we were talking about what, the soundtrack?
The guy behind Josh is amazing. Did you lean back?
His mustache?
Oh no, it's the guy who's leaning in for a kiss or something. What's up with that?
His eyes are closed, and he's watching the motion picture, the pre-roll, and he's just like, oh God, not again. It's just his hand hasn't made it up to his face yet.
Really? I feel like he's feeling his emotion. He's like, yes, we're letting it out. Oh yeah, you have to close your eyes to let it wash over you.
Well, that's what he's worried about with the penis guy behind him.
He's like, that guy's coming again. Oh, I should have said it that way.
Oh no!
Sorry.
Are we still doing phrasing?
Phrasing. Yes, we are. uh, yeah, no, I loved the music in this movie, and I think it really, really worked because in motion picture, they did the thing where like a lot of like earlier movies, like movies from the 60s and 70s, if something specific isn't happening, but people are talking to each other, it's just silent, right? In those gaps. Whereas I find this movie did that like jump to no, music is about to enhance the moment, even if people are talking. And they just have it in there, and it's subtle, but also it's grandiose, and it gets you into the feel of the scenes. And that's how I felt about it, at least.
All right, so what I'm hearing from the group is I need to rewatch this movie.
Yeah, on a higher
or
volume.
just listen to the soundtrack.
I think I might actually do that as well.
And also one thing I really loved about this movie, even though all the sets are still beige, which I think is fine, the colors in the uniforms added so much depth to the scenes in general that I was just like, oh my God, these are glorious. And also I think this set of uniforms is one of the best uniforms in Star Trek, even like TNG uniforms and all that kind of stuff. And I know the second half of DS9 has like the with like the gray shoulders and like the smocks, and which are very cool as well. But I still feel like these ones are like top tier.
The Admiral Kirk like uniform and stuff, like those were
Yes.
used as references. So they actually flew them to Toronto to use as reference to remake them to use in the Strange New Worlds episode.
Yeah. They're they're fantastic. And even like when they go to what is it, Regular One, and they're in like the underground cave, and they switch to like the cool like jackets
with the like huge necks on them, like just like they're the most 70s jackets you could. But it's the 80s, but they were
jackets,
very 70s.
Yeah,
those jackets are so cool.
They're glorious. I want one of those. Like it would be just like the color with the giant lapels, the zippers, and the random like grommets, and there's like a weird thing in the middle of the back for some reason. I don't care. I want all of it. I need this jacket.
I like an expedition coat.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that on. Grab my friend McCoy. We're gonna go to that après-ski and see what happens.
They could have used those in Star Trek 6.
Yeah, make sure he does not forget that big glorious necklace with a medallion on it. He's got to have it. Has to have it.
That's how you get into the orgy, Tracy.
It is. It's your key, right?
Yeah.
And everything's done. Let's see. What other notes do I have? I already talked about Khan's cleavage, surprisingly. And how
I don't know how his chest is real. Like, that's insane to me. I've watched it. I've seen this movie several times, and every time I'm like, do I see a line where it's like it looks like a Halloween costume chest?
It does.
Like, it's insane. Like, that man's physique is incredible.
It's like they molded it for all of those Halloween costumes where it's like, you're a buff guy. They molded his chest, and that's what you're actually getting. It's amazing.
He's the template for everything else.
Yes. And we're all okay with it because it's well deserved. It is
that dude
very
earned
well
it.
deserved. It is.
Before shoot, what is it? Brad Pitt in Fight Club. That is the physique that people were shooting for.
Yes.
He looks like he's made out of wood in that movie.
I would love if somebody went to a personal trainer and said, I want Khan in Star Trek 2 body. That nobody.
First of all, the trainer would be like, who? You'd have to pull out a picture. And they'd be like, oh, I don't know how to do that.
You have to explain it to a 20-year-old who Ricardo Montalban is. He was on Fantasy Island. What?
Like, what's that? They're like, there's nobody named that in like the movie from 2018 or whatever it was.
No, there's one from not too long ago.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I did not watch it. It's not a thing that was gonna happen. And I have notes about reusing shots from the motion picture, which was approaching space dock, the shuttle docking, pulling out, and the guy standing at the side of the ship, and a couple of shots of the ship pulling out was the reused scenes, as far as I can remember.
But tightened. They were much shorter of the ship, like coming out of space dock, and like better because of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like you still got to see the beauty shot. But
yeah, even them like approaching the ship, instead of it being like 10 minutes of music and them circling the ship, it was just like, hey, look, it's the ship. Okay, we're there now. And I was like, thank you.
We're gonna leave now. Yeah. You don't have to wait another 38 minutes.
You know what? Maybe that's a joke in the movie. How like Kirk is like, let's just go. We're good. Let's just go. Like poking fun at motion picture.
Yeah.
Do they ever say how long after 2 is after the first movie?
I don't think so.
Because the first movie he wants command so bad, and then this one it starts with him kind of like, oh, I'm old and.
Well, it's real time from Space Seed, right? It's about 15 years difference between 81 and 66.
Yeah.
So I would say 2 years, I guess. Okay. I mean, logically, you would say it would follow the same kind of thing. And they're like, boy, that was embarrassing what we wore 2 years ago, right, guys?
Yep.
We got these nice coats now. No one can see my junk. McCoy's like, damn it.
But one thing we do know about this movie, it does start on March 22nd. So we can say that. Not sure what year, but we can say March 22nd.
Does Kirk have the same birthday as William Shatner?
Is that William Shatner's birthday as well?
I think so. I only know because it's my niece's birthday, and I always bother her because she doesn't know who the fuck William Shatner is. So I always bother her that she's born on the same day.
You're the worst uncle.
Kirk.
Oh, Uncle Steve.
It is okay. Yeah, no, I googled. All I did was Google James Kirk's birthday, and it said March 22nd, and that is William Shatner's birthday as well. So yes.
Now, did William Shatner enforce that? Do you think he's like, no, this is his birthday?
We can't start filming until my birthday.
Well, even like being born in Riverside, Iowa was apparently a retcon thing because apparently the city had they petitioned to be the birthplace of Kirk or something, if I remember correctly.
Well, they originally had a different birthday for him, but Shatner was like, I can't remember 2 birthdays, so we're gonna have to use my birthday as the one. If you
want this correct.
Yeah, if you want, I'm not gonna respond correctly. I'm gonna be like, what are you talking about? That's not my birthday. So yeah, they had to change it.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like him.
Yeah.
And according to Memory Alpha, in the Kelvin universe, he was actually born 3 months early on January 4th, 2233, instead of March 22nd, 2233.
Just like Jesus.
Maybe the space battle triggers her pregnancy, or not pregnancy, but
her
labor.
Yeah. I don't know.
I did not know that fact.
Apparently, Riverside, Iowa has a USS Riverside NCC 1818.
Oh. They also have a statue of him in there somewhere as well. I only know that because of the movie. Oh my God, what's that movie called?
Trekkies?
No, it's not
Trekkies
the documentary.
Is it the Star Wars one?
Yeah, there's like some
Seth Rogen with the Jar Jar tattoo on his back.
Yes, that one.
Fanboys.
Fanboys.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Seen that. Yeah. That movie's bad. Don't watch that.
Okay.
Awful. You know what?
Wait.
You probably watch it because it's
so
been so long. The people that are in it would be just very random. Like Seth Rogen even being that Jar Jar guy. Like that is well before he was super famous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Like you will definitely get some chuckles out of it, but calling it good is a very strong word.
I mean, it's no Sex Drive, right? So.
Oh
God, I think I've seen that movie too. Is that the one with the pink or the GTO, the orange GTO? Oh my God.
Yeah. So,
I don't think I've seen that either.
You're welcome, Tracy. I don't know why that hit you so hard, but it really did.
Because I don't know why you said it, and I was just like, "Oh shit, I've watched that movie," and I was just like, "Oh god, I've watched that movie." I don't know why it was just so painful to me.
Movie. Sorry, I don't remember that movie.
It's fine. It's fine if you don't. You don't need to look it up. You
Oh, I'm
don't need to
looking it
find
up.
what it is. It's okay.
Oh, the poster's a guy in a donut suit holding a gun.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
It's called cinematic perfection.
And there's an Amish guy. Is that Bob Odenkirk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I believe.
No.
Oh, is it not
No.
Seth Green?
The picture's blurry. Oh, it's
Yeah,
Seth Green. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
swear to God,
equal,
I think
yeah.
I saw a clip of that when I was doom scrolling through Instagram recently.
Oh god.
Recently?
Yeah.
I was trying to pull one out from a long time ago.
I
They're
know.
like
I know.
deep cut.
Classic.
Yeah.
A classic.
Not deep
Watched
enough.
it
You gotta
last
rummage.
week.
I saw it on
even further.
TCM. I saw it on Turner Classic Movies.
Oh wait, is Sex Drive the one with Rumschlager or whatever?
The Rumspringa? Yeah, I think there's
Rumspringer,
Rumspringa
yeah.
stuff in
Okay,
there.
all right.
Yeah.
I too
Oh,
have
hence
seen this
the
movie.
Amish
It just
character.
took me a while to get there.
Yeah, you're
Why?
okay.
It has such a memorable title.
Yeah.
That easily tells you everything that's happening in the movie.
All
Wait,
you need
is
to
it a
know
road
about
trip
it.
movie too?
Yes, it
Basically,
is.
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
It actually has some funny bits in it. I'm being way too mean to it.
Yeah.
It had that dude, what's his name? Clark something?
Clark Duke.
Yeah, he's funny. So like he
Yeah.
does some good bits in that. So yeah, I actually enjoy that one. So
Yeah.
but I do enjoy making fun of it as well.
Hey, Josh,
James Marsden's in it.
Josh, I will say you remember way too many specifics about that movie. I just remember being disappointed that I have watched that movie. That's the only thing I really remember about it.
As you were watching it.
Yes.
I have had somebody in a movie apologize during the movie for taking me to that movie.
Wait, what was the movie?
1,000 Ways to Die in the West.
Oh my god.
Oh.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There was an off-screen fart sound, and then a person said that came out of my penis, and then my friend said, "I am so sorry."
I just wasted 2 hours of your life.
And I laughed harder at that than I did at anything in the movie.
You know what's really sad about that is that you were taken to a theater to watch it, where I sat at home, clicked on Netflix, and was like, I'm gonna watch this movie and watch that movie from beginning to end, and then felt really sad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Yes.
Charlize, what are you doing in this?
Like, what is even happening here? Yeah.
The best part is when they played his teeth like a piano.
Oh my god. No. There's a thing about there's a giant ice cube that they're excited about, and then it crushes a bunch of people. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
is this supposed to be funny? I don't know if this is supposed to be funny. What's happening? That was it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Tangent King
yeah.
is back.
Woo, we're doing it. I will say, on the bridge of the Enterprise in this movie, they've done
Mhm.
some refitting of the chairs, and those chairs look hella comfy all of a sudden. They
They look like gamer chairs.
They're
Are they like the
thick
clamshell
recliners.
ones?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
they got
it's head support, the whole bit. They're like 4 inches thick with the cushions, And I was just like, oh, I would be on that bridge. That's a bridge I can be on. It's fine. Yeah.
They've got their headset, their little table for their Mountain Dew while they're gaming.
yeah. They got
Mr. Sulu,
they got
put on
two
COD.
they got 2 turbo lifts now, no longer just the one.
Mm-hmm.
I think navigation's in like the weird like back left corner now. That was confusing, I think. No.
I think that
wait.
was tactical.
That was tactical. Okay.
I don't know where anybody was. All I know is the 2
They were
guys
all
in
in
the
the
front navigate and turn things.
I mean, maybe we would know more if there was more like lights everywhere so we could see everything.
Yes.
Star Trek loves to have a dark bridge, and I never understand why. It seems very unsafe.
Especially
but
the
it was
movies. Like
specifically the movies.
yeah, like going from like I just finished watching TNG and then I watched the TNG movies, and like Generations
Oh, yeah.
immediately I'm like, I can't see anything. What is happening on this bridge? It was wild.
Yeah.
It was
I
the night
think
shift.
Insurrection was better, but Insurrection also had the like manual flight mode that just popped up a joystick and Riker grabbed it
Oh
and
my
started
god.
going around.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
We're
I
bringing
gotta
up
rewatch.
other
I haven't
reasons
watched
why I don't like
Insurrection or the
Insurrection.
last one in a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nemesis,
Nemesis is also.
I will
I
say
do love
Nemesis
the
is
battle
not
scene.
that great, but it's not as bad as people think it is. However, Insurrection, people are just like, it can't be that bad. And you're like, yes, it is.
Nemesis is the worst of the even-numbered movies.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That
Oh.
should have
already
been
in
a
it.
good one.
That's wild to
Yeah,
me.
it's got to be.
That's
Yeah, it's definitely the worst of the even ones.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing with Star Trek. It's like every other movie is good, starting with number 2.
Yeah.
There's a
I really
joke
like
in there
3, the next
somewhere,
one.
but-
I know it's not everyone's favorite, but I really like 3.
I like 3 just because they steal the Enterprise, and that is like one of the coolest scenes in the movies. I think 2, 3, and 4 are like a nice little trilogy as well.
Agreed. I
I
think
was
they're
just about to
great.
say that. Yeah,
It's the best run in Star Trek movies.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why, not just because of the story, but I also think that's why 5 was so bad, because they're just like, oh no, we finished this story, and they're like, oh, we want to make more money, let's make another movie, and you're just like, oh, what is this?
I mean,
And I'm glad they had a chance to make 6, because if you ended on 5, oh my god, that would just been so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, five is bad just from the idea of it. It's just like at the end it's also like where like Kirk is like smarter than Spock at the end.
Which is
Yeah.
dumb.
I wonder who put that in the movie.
Yeah. No, it was
Probably
such a
the
wank.
director.
So such a wank of a movie. Like I think that actually gets me at the end of like some of the Shatner stuff in some of these movies where it's and that was sort of what I pointed out before. It's like these old guys still got it. It's got a lot of that kind of like
Yeah.
like I feel like that coming off of Shatner as Kirk in the movies a lot, where it's just like, I'm still virile, guys. So like I can still do this, and we're like, you're very old, and we're very worried about you.
Yes. But I also think that's one of the reasons why 6 works so well, because it's sort of like Red, where you have like a bunch of old people, and you're like, we're young, we can get rid of these people. And it comes back to be like, no, they are seasoned enough and good enough, and they've trained you. They know how to beat you. They know how to work the system and get to a point where they are going to win. And in number 6, it's that same sort of feeling where they're like, they're supposed to retire. They're put out to pasture, and this thing happens, and they're like, no, we're not going to use our like punches and our kicks and stuff to win the day. We're going to use our knowledge and our contacts to get to a certain point and, actually fix the problem, and also realize what our prejudices are pushing on someone, when we can actually make things better by putting these things aside.
Mhm.
Right?
I'm really excited to watch the 6th movie.
Yeah, 6 is Nicholas Meyer again.
Yeah.
It's the same
same as
director
Khan.
as 2, and it has that cool like it has the trial stuff in it, right? That's that
Yes.
one
Yeah.
where they get and
Mhm.
Kirk's like
Round gavel.
yeah, and Kirk's like I shouldn't have said that Kronos was a garbage planet floating.
No. Too political.
Topical.
Yes.
I really liked Star Trek. I think Star Trek 2 was also one of the first things in Star Trek I saw besides TNG. It was like my first into the movies, really got me into it. And I liked that there was more of a almost like military aspect to it. Like it seemed like they seemed much more refined than in the first one. They seemed like they had a structure, and they were following. It just seemed like they were actually operating the ship like a crew would. where I don't think that they got there in the first movie at all.
Well, I think it's because it's such a clearer mission, whereas like motion pictures, like let's explore and see what happens. Whereas no, this is this specific thing we're doing. And I think that helps with that sort of like focus of the movie compared to motion picture. And I think that's why motion picture also comes across as just like an extended episode that didn't need to be extended compared to stuff happening. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I hear that the first movie's still going somewhere. Someone's still watching it.
They're just like, when is this finishing?
It just
like,
never ends.
Just never
ends.
Like,
man,
never ends.
It has an overture, for God's sake. An overture.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty lucky we got more Star Trek movies after that one.
Oh my God, right?
Like, that could have just killed off Star Trek.
Altogether,
Yeah.
I will say this movie also has one of the earliest like pseudo gory scenes in Star Trek, as in like the linear release of the stuff, where when that one ensign is like dying and he like grabs Kirk's suit and he's like, tell me it's okay, and he's like, it's okay to die or whatever.
And then the next scene, the blood stains in a different spot.
Yeah.
Well, besides that fact, but like Star Trek,
he changed and then cut himself shaving.
Oh,
he didn't have time to change again. That's a different thing.
My mistake.
It's one of his many costume changes that they do several a day on the Enterprise. Yeah.
But like Star Trek was not a bloody show. Like people have died and mishaps have happened, but blood was never a part of the pain that was going through. And this is one of like the earliest instances where you're just like, no, there's not just real consequences, but there's like quote unquote stains of these horrific things that are happening. And I like, even like watching that scene now, which is definitely not as gory as some other sci-fi or horror or things out there, but just seeing that blood on his uniform, I was just like, that's a lot. That's like a lot. I don't know why. It just kind of hit me really hard for some reason.
Even when the earwig thing came out of Chekhov's ear, some blood trickles down, and that grossed me out.
Yeah, that's also an effect that surprisingly has aged really well. I was like, yes, I know it's a fake ear, but like it's oozing, and this is making me uncomfortable. I don't like it.
Didn't they do like a really quick extreme close-up shot from like Chekhov to like the fake ear?
Yeah,
which also kind of like they could have just cut to it, and that would have seemed more like, it's weird in a movie when something zooms in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they really wanted to show off their skills,
Yes.
I like the SETI eels. They're fun.
Are they fun? Is fun the word you want to?
Well, I'm gonna say it's a complete nonsense sci-fi thing where we're gonna put a worm in your ear and now we can control you. Like that doesn't make any sense. So first of all, why does
they explain it?
Well, why does Khan now have control over the worms inside their brain?
Yeah, they never really get into that.
No, it's because the larvae of the worm makes you susceptible to suggestion. Therefore, he doesn't have control. He's just suggesting they do things. Like, why don't you call the Enterprise and tell them to do this? And why don't you call Regular One and say we're gonna take, the Genesis device from you? Like,
but aren't they like undercover for a little while as well? Like they're pretending to be like along with the
Yes.
Yes.
So they're under orders at that point.
Essentially,
kind of,
yeah.
I will say, there is a little bit of a leap to be made there.
But they're fun, and and they use them. They use a slightly different version in the 2009 one with the Centurion slugs.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
Yeah, that's the torture when they torture Pike.
Yeah, Nero's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's a riff on that. It's a remix.
It is.
Well, then you have the nubbin bugs in season 1, I think, of Next Generation.
Yeah.
But they're different because they have a little tail that sticks out of the back of your neck.
Yeah, now that's a gory one when they blow up Remick, who's got like the mother alien.
What a great shot that is!
Yeah,
it's so great.
That and the Odo explosion in
it's the only
DS9.
episode of Star Trek to be banned by the BBC.
Really? Oh, I didn't know about that.
They blow a person up. Like, yeah, I get it.
They also have to cut out all the references to tea because he's obviously a Frenchman drinking tea, and that's not right.
It's horribly wrong.
Yeah, no, it confuses the BBC watchers. They're just like
what's happening? So, after their first encounter with the Reliant, and wait, is that what happened? Anyways, and like Kirk beams over to Regula 1, and it's all like quiet in there, and like they kind of like fan out trying to find out like the people that are on there. That sequence really reminded me of the first Alien movie, just like the shots of like the ship when it's quiet and the lights are coming on, and it's just like silent shots like going around and down corridors and stuff. Mm-hmm. I just found it really cool that they managed to put like sort of like, I know it's supposed to be like, oh, something's happening, but it's sort of like a horror sequence within this like light.
It's creepy.
Sci-fi.
Well, because like also at this point in the movie, like we don't know what has happened to the space station, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that getting that slow reveal, building up that tension, that makes a lot of sense.
It does. Yeah.
It made it seem like it was anything but regular.
Yeah.
Have you been sitting there all night?
Definitely didn't write that down in my notes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the reveal of that body when Bones like turns the corner and he's like he walks into like the person's, I think it's his hands or whatever.
The hand, yeah.
Oh, speaking of bodies, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I have a question. So when Scotty comes onto the bridge with the engineer in his arms, is that the guy who dies later in sickbay?
Yes.
Why didn't he go straight to sickbay? Why is he bringing them up to the bridge first? It's like, look what you've done to him.
Look what happened.
Yeah.
This is because of you guys. Anyway,
this was precious time he may have needed to survive.
Emergency surgery.
Yeah.
Like, Scotty was a little dramatic there.
I cannot give you any more lives, Captain.
I'm just gonna say, if it was Beverly Crusher, he would have been fine. I'm just saying.
Well, that's because the captain would have been there already, because he's just talking to Beverly the whole time.
Yeah. She is my best friend's wife, but he's dead now.
Oh, what can I do about this situation?
Yeah, in 7 years, I'll make a move.
And apparently have a baby.
That's right.
Who at 23 looks like he's 35.
Well, that tracks. I mean, look at Patrick Stewart. He came out bald with like a horseshoe of gray around his head.
Look, I will say, the thing that really got me mad about Nemesis is that within Next Generation, they have a whole story about him being at the academy, and they show what he looks like when he's young. And it's a giant full head of hair. And he's got like a picture on his mantle and all sorts of shit when he gets back to the ship. And then you have Nemesis and he's like, oh, I went bald really early. And you're just like...
He was in the mines. He was in the mines. You can't grow hair underground.
No, but the picture, they've got a picture of young Picard and he's bald. And he should have had hair. So what happened between that year of Starfleet Academy in the next year?
It was a really stressful year. Yeah,
but I'm sorry, in that TNG episode when he goes back, isn't he in like the last year already?
Yeah, because him and his friends aren't going to see each other. They're talking about like what ships they'll be assigned to, and
exactly. So
it
was the heart. It was the knife to the heart. He got the new heart, but head of hair gone.
The head of hair was gone?
He got spooked.
They had to shave his head for surgery.
Never grew back.
Never grew back.
It was a mistake. They were like, "Wait, it's his head, right?" And they're like, oh wait, shit. We need to clearly mark heart on these charts.
I will say one funny thing about Patrick Stewart's memoir, Make It So, is that he has an anecdote about Nemesis and meeting Tom Hardy, because Tom Hardy apparently during the filming was like very quiet and not really standoffish, but he was just not very friendly with like other people, and he wasn't very like outgoing and stuff, and he was just like so not really even just into his role. He was just like so into like I am here to do this thing and I'm going to do this thing, that Patrick Stewart was just like, that guy's not gonna make it in Hollywood. And he was like, I was like, that's amazing. But he's also said, he was like, I'm very happy to be wrong because he did a good job. But
As long as no one sees his mouth, he's good.
He's good to go. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious that he's like, no, this has to be said. I didn't think Tom Hardy was gonna make it. But I'm glad to be wrong. He's doing a fine job. Like, this is awesome.
Let's put him in a bunch of movies where we can't see his mouth move and not understand what he's saying.
Wait, Dunkirk and Bane.
Yeah,
anything else?
Yeah.
Does he have other movies where
It must be.
I don't know. What did I think of it?
Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I don't know. I really liked him in like Rock and Rolla. I never saw Bronson. I didn't like the Venoms.
Oh, I didn't like Bronson.
I liked him in Inception. You know.
I mean, I mean, Venom's not a good movie, but he is so much fun in it because he's not in the same movie as anybody else in that movie. He's swinging for the fences so hard, and it's so fun to see him just be like, I'm gonna be weird.
If that's what you got from it, I'm happy for you.
100% what I got. Like, doesn't he jump into a lobster tank in the middle of it and just start eating a lobster? Like, that's insane. That's just like a weird thing that happens in that movie. He's just like talking to himself all the time. It's just like, it's like Ricardo Montalban chewing the scenery. It's very similar. I mean, he's not doing weird quasi Shakespearean references, but you know.
No, sadly. It would have been better if he did. But anyways.
That is the Ricardo, like at the end of it though, at the end of Khan, he has a great death scene.
Oh yes. No, his death scene, I do think it's funny that he thinks he is won and then he dies. So he doesn't see that he has failed.
Yeah.
You know, so he's like, he's going to his death happy. But also, even in his throes of dying, he's like, I spit my last breath at you. And you're just like, yes, yes. Like, it's one of those villains.
Maybe he saw the streaks.
Like, you're amazing.
Maybe he saw the streaks just before. It's like, oh shit, what the? And then it's done.
You're just like, ah, shit, it's over. Yeah.
There's an amazing visual with the Enterprise is backing away from the Reliant at impulse. It's very slowly, and the Reliant's just drifting, and there's like one of its cells is broken off, and there's debris coming. I love that shot. It's so cool.
I know this question might be answered in the next movie, but so the Genesis device was initially created to work on the surface of a celestial body, like a moon or a dead planet or whatever. But because it's set off in the middle of a nebula, it shows a planet. So it just took the molecules from the nebula and created a planet? Is that what happened?
Okay.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Science stuff.
So I think the reason that they wanted a dead planet was for testing purposes, because it will completely rewrite the DNA of anything that's on it, and it like rearranges molecules and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why the one character is like, I'm really nervous about working with Starfleet. I feel like they're going to turn this into a weapon or something like that. And I think that that's why it's because it completely like rearranges molecules.
Mhm.
Um, as for by firing it into a nebula, what happens? Bleh.
I totally know what a nebula is, though, for sure. I know
Please
that
explain it
there's
to me.
cool pictures.
Yeah,
They look cool in pictures.
one looks
I
like
just
a
know it
horse.
messes with shields and sensors. There's always a nebula nearby.
Or an ion storm. Definitely
Yes,
know
or
what an
something.
ion storm is.
But it's a nebula is where stars are formed, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, is it?
It's a lot of uh like a lot of different gases are kind of like mingling together oftentimes.
Mhm.
And yeah, usually it's like new stars are being formed, new planets and stuff like that.
Yeah. So there are
well, then
like
that kind of adds up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So like
this is why I was confused because like at the end like I'm like it blew up in a nebula, but then you see like a planet with like a sun coming through in the background. I'm like, wait, did we just not see whatever star that is because of the nebula? But because now the planet's formed, the nebula's out of the way, you can see it. Like, what is
yeah,
what is
I feel
happening?
like the Genesis device is just speeding up the nebula forming planets and sun and stars and stuff. Um, but yeah. Look,
Maybe that's why it had like an adverse reaction too. Maybe that's why the planet, in the next one,
yeah, that
spoiler,
yeah,
blows
that's
up.
another thing too, is that
Yeah.
it's a completely untested device as well, right?
Hmm. Well, that's why I was thinking, I'm like, wait, does the next movie, because I didn't watch ahead, and three I haven't watched in quite some time. So I'm like trying to figure out, like, does that movie actually answer the question of how the planet was actually formed based on the Genesis device, or does it just like, oh, now there's a planet and stuff's happening? Like, I don't
I My
know which one.
question is going to be, how did they find Spock? Because
I
What?
guess,
I know he's back in
He
4.
died. They had a funeral.
yeah.
Wait, what's the third one called?
Search for Spock.
Oh my God.
And he's not
Uh,
in it, right? At all. Like, not even.
and
It's at
until
the
the
end.
very
It's at
end.
After the very, very end?
very
Okay.
end.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Very
a
end.
whole a pond far scene, which I think is weird.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, because
Yeah,
he's
they
he's a
recast
little
Savick.
boy.
Yes. Yes. I
Oh, that's
do
right. Yeah.
I the lady that replaces Kirstie Alley does a really good job, but I think the two Saviks are so different that
So
you're just
different.
like
I agree.
they're just like two very different Vulcan characters that you
Mhm.
wish would meet together in a film. I think
Yeah.
they'd be really
What's
cool together.
the other actress's name is Robin something, but I agree. I think she seems more Vulcan, like in the sense of everything you know about Vulcan. She seems more Vulcan-like.
Agree. Yes. Yes. I think, yeah, now that you say it, I think that's maybe what it is. But there's just something about them. Like, I think they're both very good characters, but they're not the same character. And I feel like maybe, well, I guess because it's in the middle of a trilogy and they haven't gone anywhere and come back, they can't make her something different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you kind of wish she was just a different character and you would get over but it's not actually Savick
Well,
idea.
Kirstie Alley is just trying to cheat on her test. She's like, "What did you do for the Kobayashi Maru? How did you? I mean, if I was to do it again, what would your advice be as somebody who passed it?"
I mean, I think logically she's doing her research as to what the thing is. But I feel like as a Vulcan, being told the only way to pass it is to cheat is not only mind blowing, but makes the most sense possible.
Welcome to the world. Am I right, everybody?
yeah.
Right?
Hashtag political.
uh, at the end of, I will say, at the end of this movie, despite its, quote unquote, sad ending, I felt really good. I don't know. There was something really like yeah, about the end of this
Well,
movie that I
doesn't
just
Spock do
loved.
like the whole opening? Like, doesn't he like say
Yeah,
the?
he does. He does.
Yeah,
He does the whole thing. Yeah, he does.
which I got to imagine. Do you think that pissed Shatner off?
I don't
Probably.
know.
Shatner got to do a voice catch though. Like he got to do the most human.
Oh, the
You know,
It is a good delivery though. I
yeah,
love it.
no, he
Yeah.
does a great job. He gets to have his that's gonna be his in memoriam at the Oscars, right? Like that's 100% gonna be like the clip they show at the Oscars after he sadly passes away in space.
Yeah,
When he yells "con," is that a good delivery?
Oh, that's good too.
it is good.
It's been parodied so many times. I don't know if it's
I'm-
good anymore.
I'm surprised no one's done it on this call already.
well, your name
You
is
did it earlier.
the whole
What?
time.
No, I was talking about the taking the con, and I was talking to you, Sean.
Oh, okay.
I
I
will
always forget
say-
that there's
Sorry.
the echo, like it shows up the planet, and it's like "con." I always forget that happens every time. Makes me laugh.
Yeah, because like when you see him like yell into it, "Gone," and he's like angry, I was like, yes. But then they like show the planet and you hear it again. I was just like,
Yeah. Oh, it's
Like
great.
birds to fly
Alien
away.
yeah, I'm like, Alien told us nobody can hear you scream, so what are we doing out here? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
what is happening?
No, those
There-
rules don't apply in Star Trek. Their ships make explosion sounds, and yeah.
And
Yeah, there's fire.
There's fire. It's the whole bit.
Is anyone familiar with the website You're the Man Now Dog?
Oh, it used to.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a website. I remember it existing in 2009. I believe the impetus for its creation was Finding Forrester, where Sean Connery utters the line, "You're the man now, dog." But anyways, it's a website where you could just basically you could upload an image and you could either like scale it to the full size of the browser or you could tile it and you could upload an audio clip. And if the image was animated, it would loop and it would loop the audio. And so basically the first one that was created was You're the Man Now Dog. And it was just like Sean Connery is just like bad gif opening the mouth, closing the mouth, and it's just like, "You're the man now, dog. You're the man now, dog. You're the man now, dog." But somebody made one for Wrath of Khan, and it's exactly the same thing, just Khan,
In an endless loop.
in an endless loop.
Oh my
And
God.
That's how I go to sleep at night. The 10-hour con loop.
yeah, and somebody like actually like registered a domain for it. I think it was Khan with 5 A's, if I remember correctly. It appears to be down now. I just checked, but
Oh, no. Are you sure there's not 6 A's on there?
it might be. I tried 3 A's as well. 3 A's is giving me an SSL error, so maybe it's 3 A's now.
Okay, got it. Yes.
They had to cut down. It was a Facebook situation.
Yeah.
It's three A's is cleaner.
That's the most A's people are going to type in, guys. It's too far.
You think you can get the American public to type in 5 A's?
Okay, so speaking of Khan, of course, like with the last movie, I brought up the Kelvin universe. And we did already touch on Star Trek Into Darkness, which touches on, well, not touches, just sort of redoes the Wrath of Khan storyline. And I will say, I do not hate that movie. Also, I will mention that I am a big advocate for not spoiling stories. And when this movie came out, I watched the first trailer, which pretty much had no Benedict Cumberbatch in it. And I was like, I'm going to watch it. Therefore, I will not watch or read anything until the movie comes out. And a friend of mine at work got a early preview on the Thursday, and I had tickets for the Friday of this movie. And I was just like, no spoilers. She's like, I'm not going to say anything. But anyways, when Cumberbatch comes out as Khan, I was just like, what the fuck is your problem? And he's like, it's clearly Khan when you're watching it. I'm like, that's not the point. Giving me any spoiler at all is gonna, throw me off or increase my expectations or whatever. So when that scene came in the movie, he's like, I am Khan. I don't know if it's because I knew it was Khan or if how it was presented that I would have known it was Khan in the first place, but it just felt so flat. And then the story around it, despite being slightly different, was still interesting. And I don't hate it as much as some other people do. But I thought it was like a relatively good update to the Khan story. And I just kind of want to know, what do you guys think about it? We'll start with a Josh this time.
Sure. I mean, I feel like I kind of already did my whole spiel on it. I mean, it's a glossy version of this. And I mean, I think that it doesn't quite stand alone, to like function on its own. I don't think it's bad either. I think it's definitely like a fun afternoon. It plays some weird stuff in like film language with like fan service stuff, which I think is that's its downfall to me, is that it's sort of like a little too winky and nudgy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean this one is the gold standard, right? Like the Wrath of Khan is like the Goldfinger, to use my previous metaphor, where it's like it's the template that everything after it's trying to do, right? Like it's the one that everyone likes, and it's like we're gonna try to do that from now on. And then this one flew a little too close to the sun. It was trying to get a little too close to the one that we've already seen. And it only reminded us how good the other one was.
It did.
And that, yeah, and then it just sort of goes like, I'm fine with it, but I'd rather like I want to see Shatner yell Khan. It's way better.
Yeah.
And nobody has those cool coats in Into Darkness. So
that is true. Those coats, I'm sorry. As soon as that coat shows up, I'm just like, yes, this is amazing. I don't know. It had like a visceral effect upon me in some way. It was odd. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has a turtleneck. Yes.
Sean, what do you think?
I really don't like that movie.
Oh.
It's the weakest of the three new ones, I think. Like RoboCop. Peter Weller is an evil admiral, and he wants to blow up the Enterprise in like Earth's orbit. No one's gonna know this. Like this, he's killing off other admirals too. Like there's just they teleport to Kronos at one point, which I hated also. Like they use I think it's Kronos, but anyways, they teleport somewhere really really far away to fight Klingons, and I did not like that either. I agree with what Josh said. It just makes you think of how they did it better.
I will say one thing that really annoyed me about Into Darkness was the whole scene with Carol. That was like completely unnecessary, like her disrobing on the planet, like on the ship with him for like no reason.
They actually apologized for that.
They had
that's
to.
how bad that scene was. Is that the filmmakers were like, "Yeah, we fucked up. Sorry."
Well, because it was unnecessary. It didn't do anything, and you're just like, "Why is this here?" It's just made no sense.
It was for some TNA.
Yeah. Which was unnecessary. And that's one of the things I really liked about Wrath of Khan is that, like, despite there was history between Kirk and Carol, there wasn't a love story in the movie. And it was just not needed. It was, they're like, oh, we have history. We have a son together, and you'll know at the end that first he'll accept you as his father or whatever. But, like, the love story between the two of them was just not part of the story because it was just unnecessary. And that's kind of a thing I really liked about it. Steve, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Sean. I didn't enjoy it that much. They took a lot of things that would be otherwise incredibly complicated and simplified them. And like if I want sci-fi fantasy, I watch Star Wars. I want like science fiction, maybe not like super hard, but
Yeah.
Um, the skull crushing scene was a little intense. Khan did that. The cracking sounds they made that was a little much. And I was thinking about what you said. Like, there is a lot of fan service in it, and there wasn't as much in the first one. And I think they got a lot of heat for not, referencing back to the original series as much, or talking, like, doing their own thing. Which I agree. I thought that was why I liked that one the most of the three Kelvin ones. So yeah, maybe they just overdid it on the fan service and went completely the other way.
Yeah.
Not a big fan. Not a big fan.
I feel
was there even good battles in it? Yeah, even the Vengeance. The Vengeance pissed me off. Could you imagine Starfleet building something that big? The Galaxy class was like a huge deal. The Vengeance would dwarf it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that was sort of part of the issue with it, is that they made it too big so that it had less space to go after, if you understand what I mean. Like, with the ships and the technology, and I know DS9 brought a dark aspect to the Star Trek world, which was fine, don't get me wrong, but bringing it into the base Star Trek movie crew was a little too far, I think, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Tim, what did you think about? I think you said you watched Into Darkness. What do you think about Into Darkness?
Yeah, so I have seen it, but like I said, it was basically when it first came out. I think I went and saw it in theaters, and I was like, oh, okay, once Benedict Cumberbatch showed up, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like just like a retelling of Wrath of Khan. And then then I thought, like, it was interesting, the switch where instead of Kirk, or instead of Spock being in the reactor, it's Kirk, and they do the same, like, touch glass thing. And I thought that was like, oh, this isn't how that story ends. What's gonna happen now? And I don't remember if they ever resolved that in Into Darkness or not.
It was fine.
Well, they did, because the thing that really pissed me off about this story is that, like, at the beginning of the movie, for some reason, Bones has a tribble and learned how to bring it back to life. And I was like, oh, I guess Spock's not dying. And then the death scene happened, and it was Kirk. And I was like, well, I guess Kirk's not dying. And of course, 3 seconds later, he's back alive because of the thing they showed at the beginning of the movie. And I was like,
okay,
wow, this has been telegraphed greatly.
Yeah. Doesn't Spock chase down Khan on, like, it's almost like a Star Wars fight where it's on, like, not a highway, but it's like a shuttle.
Well,
like
they
jumping from
flying
shuttle
cars.
to shuttle.
Yeah,
flying
maglev track
cars
or something.
Yeah, they
And
crashed the ship into, like, Starfleet Academy, and
they wipe out
something.
a good chunk of San Francisco, which I totally just forgot about.
Yeah.
That would cause, that's like, I don't know, 10 9/11s. Like,
No,
you see all these buildings coming down, like, in these massive buildings too.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Oh yeah, because didn't he had some sort of, like, gravity bomb or something, right?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Something.
It's really dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, you're muted.
Kirk and crew still win an award for that. Like, they're still, like, praised. They, like,
it's a year later.
San Francisco, and yeah.
Well, it took a year to rebuild the building to give them the medal.
That's the only reason why they got the medal. Yeah. I will say, when Tyler Perry shows up as the person who's at their, like, hearing or something, somewhere in there, I was just like, is this a joke? Was my first thoughts. But
I mean, I question putting him in the Medea costume. I don't think that was the best choice.
No, definitely not.
But, I think the rest of the movie, stands it up. And Kirk?
Yeah. That's all it was. That's all it was. Do you guys have any other notes for Wrath of Khan, or any other things you want to bring up?
I wrote that space rats are cute.
The giant space rat, you don't even see his face. It just, like, crawls by.
Yeah, he was cute.
Okay, done.
Let's see. Don't see how his chest can be real. Yeah, no, that's everything.
Yeah.
I actually I did write something at the end that there was a lot of like cross-cutting between Kirk doing stuff and then Khan doing stuff, and I kind of wondered if the movie was trying to like show them as both being like having similar like drive, like if they're both driven by their own anger, if they're like two sides of the same coin kind of thing. I wondered if you guys thought something similar.
Yeah, there was definitely like a duality in like how they were operating, and even I was like the Khan's whole crew, even stationed in the same positions as the bridge crew and the Enterprise. Like obviously they both are bridges, but yeah, there was definitely like a parallel the whole movie.
Yeah. And I like that they were showing that parallel throughout the movie until the point where Kirk's like, no, Khan's thinking is two-dimensional space because he's from back in the day when there was only 2 dimensions to play with. But we can change it up with our 3 dimensions. And then they cut to the Enterprise just like sinking instead of being parallel with the Reliant.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is what makes this movie art, like.
And it was Spock and Kirk working together. Like Spock kind of was like, well, and Kirk like finished it, and like that's the best, like, when Kirk and Spock are like working together at that stuff.
The ego and the superego.
Yeah.
And again, like talking about that duality and juxtaposing the two bridges. Meanwhile, on the Reliant, the rest of Khan's crew is like, we shouldn't do this. Like, we've won the battle. We need to destroy them. And it's like, no, he must suffer or something like that. Or it's like, oh, and then it's like, oh, what if we're? It's like they lay the trap for Khan and he's gonna fall for it. And it's like, wait, no, we're not sure if that's actually the case. And it's like, but he's just completely disregarding the advice of his crew. Whereas like Kirk is like, oh yeah, no, that's a good idea. More collaborative type
I'm
thing.
pretty sure this has been brought up before, but this is full on like Moby Dick thing where it's like you let the anger of your enemy destroy themselves, right? And it's essentially what Kirk does is like no, his Khan's hubris is what's going to destroy him. There's no reason for him to follow me into this nebula, but he's gonna do it because he wants to see me die. I have to just egg him on a little bit and he's going to be right there and he's going to destroy himself. And that's essentially what happens. And I think that's the thing that is so good about it, is because like his second in command is like Ishmael. He's like, no, we should stop. This is a bad thing. And he's full on Ahab. He's like, no, I need to destroy this thing. And that's it. And Kirk's really just like, yeah, come destroy me. Let's see what you're going to do about it. And I'm going to put you in the worst possible situation that is very easy for you to get out of, but you're just going to choose not to get out of it. And that's what's going to bring you down. Yeah. Brian. God, it's so good.
Well, I mean, Moby Dick's on the shelf in the container on City Alpha 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or City Alpha 5, whichever one it was.
City Alpha 5. Yes.
This is City Alpha 5.
Yeah. Because wait, wait. I always assumed when they named planet, they named it the planets in the system from inside to outside.
Correct.
But the way they're saying it is that City Alpha 6 blew up, which changed the orbital position of City Alpha 5, which brought it closer to the sun. So that means they're naming it from outside to inside.
How did the Federation miss a planet blowing up?
But no,
I mean, that's lower
but
decks.
Ceti Alpha 6 would be like further out. And so because it was destroyed,
it pushes the other one in.
It's gravity. No, I'm not thinking of an explosion of like a force pushing things out. I'm thinking of it as like the gravity well has disappeared, and so that's going to affect other things.
But that's why I think City Alpha 6 is actually closer to the sun than City Alpha 5 was.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the reason why it became a desert and barren and the way it is because City Alpha 6 was closer, and then because that gravity well was removed, it got pulled in closer to the sun within that solar system.
Yeah. Well, this is actually like kind of like the three body problem, right? Where it's like if you remove one body, then like it makes it super difficult to like predict what's going to happen
To the other things, yes.
to the other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what the three body problem is? I watched the show and I didn't really understand it.
Yeah,
to be honest.
it
I
may
enjoyed it a
be
lot, but
slightly different from that, but
Yeah.
that's kind of like what it is.
I also
I
did not
Googled
watch
it.
it.
It was not sticking. I did not understand.
Yeah.
No.
But very entertaining show.
Anyway, since we're about to tangent again, I'm gonna call it here. I think that's a good time. We've gone over a lot of things in the motion picture and the Wrath of Khan, and we're gonna come back next time and talk a little bit about Search for Spock and The Voyage Home, the end of this trilogy in the middle of this sextet of films. So,
Calm down there, McCoy.
She's got a medallion on.
I got look. Okay, look at this medallion. It's fine. I can't quite grow the beard. But...
Don't worry, I'm hip. It's cool.
It's cool. So let me ask you. At the beginning of this, I said this was the worst film and the best film of the Star Trek movies. After our discussion, do you agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Still disagree.
It's not my least favorite movie or my favorite movie.
Okay.
Like, sorry, the first one's not my least favorite. The second one's not my favorite.
Oh.
It's probably the best movie to be fair of all of them, but it's not my favorite Star Trek movie.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I'm on a similar page to Sean. I mean, as I said, I think that the motion picture is boring. Like that's its problem.
Mhm.
Like it's like the only problem it has is that it needs to take like 40 minutes cut out of it. And then it could be like solid. And as he said, I think that Wrath of Khan is probably the best movie, but I think that First Contact might be my favorite movie.
Oh, okay.
And like, but that's also like that one's just like a little more fun and a little more like contemporary to like what my growing up and a little more to my specific time frame and feel and stuff like that. So that's my own personal feeling, but Wrath of Khan is probably the best made movie of them all.
Okay, not your favorite, but best made. Got it.
Probably, yeah.
Right. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I think about the same. I don't think motion picture is my least favorite. I would say Insurrection. Like it's just bad. Like it's just bad overall. It's not boring. It's just bad. And like I go between Undiscovered Country, First Contact, and Wrath of Khan. Like those are my top three. I probably have seen Wrath of Khan more than the others, only because it came out before. Like I would watch it a lot before, First Contact came out at the very least. But yeah. So yeah, I think First Contact and Insurrection, best to worst.
Timothy?
Well, I can't really comment at this time since I don't remember Undiscovered Country. I don't.
Okay.
It's not like it's among those that I've seen the least. So like Search for Spock, Final Frontier, and Undiscovered Country, I barely remember. So I think it's that this is a good opportunity for me to like come in clean and sort of watch them. So I am unable to make a determination if the motion picture is the worst movie. That said, Wrath of Khan, A+, no notes.
That's good. If you can't remember those movies, you are in for a real adventure. and I think you're gonna enjoy your viewing experience.
I'm stoked for this roller coaster.
Yes. Yes.
Do you guys remember for a while that the Space Channel used to show these movies on Christmas Day?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, the Trekmas Day movie marathon. So I have some very fond memories of Christmas Day naps while watching a bunch of these movies.
I've definitely done the same, and maybe 5 and 6 kind of blend together in my mind. Or it just depends on like where I was when they were airing and that sort of thing. But just
bring those back, whoever's in charge of that.
Tracy.
Yeah.
No, that's James's job.
That's James's job. Yes, exactly. Well, I don't know. Thanks for talking about these movies with me, because this is great. I love this. As you know, I just like talking about Star Trek, so I'm overly stimulated and excited.
We've never talked about it before, though.
No, never. Never once have I brought up my love for Star Trek before, and I have drank all of my Romulan ales, so I'm surprised I am not slurring my words and saying ridiculous things, which maybe I am. Maybe while I'm editing, I will go over and be like, what are you even saying right now? It'll be fun. But yeah, no. Next recording will be the next 2 movies in the original series. Surprisingly, they are the only movies that I own for Star Trek. I don't even own any of the shows on DVDs, but now I feel like with the way streaming is going, I may need to get on that bandwagon and just buy some of them and just have all of it, and it'd be amazing.
Woo, physical media.
Physical media. Yes.
That was actually going to be one of my questions, is who at some point in their lives owned the 6 VHS set with the reversible images.
I did not have those.
Still own.
Yeah, I don't like a really bad habit that I had with buying my DVDs was that if it's on TV all the time, I'm not gonna buy it. That's why you haven't heard me talk about, like, we haven't had an episode of The Simpsons or Seinfeld, or we're gonna have X-Files because I'm just obsessed. But like, they're just shows, like Star Trek is just on TV all the time. So I've never actually thought about buying it because I'm like, oh, I can just watch it whenever I feel like it most of the time. But now that might be changing, and with Paramount and streaming services and splitting things up and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, maybe I should get on that bandwagon and get my shit together and have my, like you said, physical media. And
the next gen Blu-ray is really awesome.
Yeah,
they worked really hard to restore those, and a project I admire greatly. They did a really great job.
It does look beautiful. The thing I find weird about the upgrades and like the Blu-rays and like the HD versions of a lot of these shows, the only show that looks really bad, which upsets me, is Deep Space Nine. And I'm like, why doesn't, like, I find it looks older.
Yeah.
It looks older than TNG.
It was a lot of the special effects was the problem with it.
So the Blu-ray that I was hyping up a second ago didn't sell well.
Oh no.
That's why. That's your answer. So that one didn't sell well, so they didn't go, and it was a really long process. They had to go to the original film reels, scan them all in, and then the effects aren't on the original film reels because they were all done optically later on. So they had to remake those for the new thing, and they would have to have done a similar process, if not even slightly more complicated, for Deep Space Nine, just the way it was shot. So yeah, they didn't bother.
Yeah, because I think with DS9, like any of the shots were like Odo's morphing into something, those all got like burned into the original film, I think. I think I remember hearing that somewhere. And so that is a reason why the DS9 stuff hasn't aged as well or been up-resed or whatever.
Yeah, effects done at SD quality, especially on computers in the 90s, don't blow up so good.
Yeah. I mean, I know Voyager started later and Enterprise started later, but those even look better than DS9 at this
Enterprise
point.
was shot in HD.
Oh, okay. So that will definitely make a difference. But yeah, no, I definitely have to get on that like physical media bandwagon for this thing that I really like that might disappear.
Yeah, you can get the movies in box sets for cheap. You can I think you can there's probably quite a few of them around.
Yeah.
Check out used places.
Okay, one thing I will say about, despite not thoroughly enjoying my original series rewatch, is that the rewatch I did definitely had was all of like the HD version where they put in like new effects and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, no, I want to see what the shitty old effects look like. I need to see.
They look like Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah, I need to see what that actually looked like. And I'm really curious as to like how different things looked in like the 60s or whatever.
I think I've seen some. It's very psychedelic-y. It's very like a lot of like weird film rippling and burn-ins and stuff.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with that. That's like, like Fantastic Voyages is one of my favorite movies, but it's got like lava lamp effects the whole movie, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
It's great. It's great. Anyway, so I think I've kept you guys long enough. But thank you again. But we will talk soon, and we'll have our third adventure into the strange new worlds that is the Star Trek cinematic universe. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
I look forward to it.
Bye.
Okay, see you in a couple weeks.
Until next time.
Live long and prosper.
Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. This episode was produced and edited by me, Tracy, with original theme song by Ori Falconer. Like, subscribe, leave a comment wherever you listen to this podcast. Come back next time to see what falls off my shelf.
I can't do it. It's so embarrassing.
You can't do this?
Oh, you know I can't do it. It's awful.
Oh,
Quinto can't do it either.
You're a full-on Shatner. You need your invisible
string
to do it.
Shameful.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was the thing I was supposed to say. That at the end, when Spock's dying, and he puts his hand up, and he can't do the Vulcan salute back to him.
Yeah.
And it's because Shatner can't do this either. And he just like put his hand up, and they didn't like tie his.
Holy shit, guys! It's not that hard.
I'm practicing all my life. Every day I check.